Oh, you got glasses. Should I go get my glasses?
You can if you'd like.
No, I'm good.
So, I've just been sitting here with Glenn of Cannamatch.
Glenn
Wells, CEO.
Yeah, yes.
Of Cannamatch.ca.
Sole owner.
And, unfortunately, my podcast match... This is where, I don't know, like, we talked about getting a cardboard cutout of Lionel Messi.
Yeah. Now we need one for Mike.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, I don't think he's going to have teeth pulled every time.
I joke about the fact that one of the only reasons I can keep Mike around is because of the snacks. But unfortunately, I think his dentist may have put him on...
no snacks? Because of his teeth?
I don't want to take any credit for that because I'm pretty sure it was a long-term thing. But
yeah, more than likely.
Mike, he was like... I think there's a chance he's fallen asleep.
You think so?
Mike's been known to have a siesta.
Uh-huh.
And
even when he knows it's showtime?
Yeah.
But he did message you, say he was messed up, right? So what, did they give him something to relax him when they did this today, or is it just frozen?
I don't know.
Because when they took out all my teeth, they relaxed me. They gave me a pill.
Yeah. I think they may have slipped them something strong.
Something strong?
I think they maybe slipped them something strong. Maybe some Percocets or something. I don't know.
No, I don't know if the dentist could do that.
I don't know what's going on, but the fact of the matter is that there's a chance that he shows up like Jen last week with the pizza.
Yeah.
Which we can go through some voicemails and stuff. And
yeah, sure.
We got a few things that we were going to get to that you and me can get to without Mike. Maybe he just shows up randomly. He drives a really fancy sports car.
So he can drive fast.
And we should hear him pull up, even through the headphones, because he is a pretty famous celebrity, right?
Yeah.
Like, he is a big deal.
Mike Rita, we're missing you.
You know you're a big deal when you shout out where you get your dental work done.
Yes, with Sega.
With Sega Dental.
With Sega Dental. Thank you, with Sega, for messing up today's show.
Yeah. Pretty much, right?
No, come on. Mike needed some teeth done work. We all know what that's like. We're just having some fun here. Cause
you don't need to put a disclaimer on it. This whole show is a disclaimer.
Okay.
So basically, I thought in my head,
yeah,
if I was like, part of the team, like Ryan Smith. Are you familiar with the hockey player Ryan Smith? Edmonton Oilers captain.
Yeah, I was about to say Edmonton.
Yes. Legend in the game. And the reason Ryan Smith is a legend in the game is because in one game, somebody knocked his teeth out.
Yeah.
And he came back.
And he played.
Yeah. Because he's a real strong, thorough Canadian boy that loves the game of hockey. And I thought that Mike was the Ryan Smith of podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that maybe there was a chance that he'd come back, he was just gonna go to the room, for a little bit, and then like he'd come back to a round of applause for when and he'd come back to a round of applause from the arena like Ryan Smith. I thought Mike Rita, the Elton John of comedy. Canadian comedy, was the Ryan Smith of podcasting, but apparently that's not the case.
Not today.
Not today.
It has been the case in other cases, but I guess just not today.
So last week, Glenn,
yeah,
me and Mike were hungry, and for the first time, we ordered a pizza.
Yeah.
To the studio.
Well, let's do that again because I'm hungry now.
I'm so hungry.
I know, I'm so hungry too.
So that was the reference. But you know what? Since you're here,
yeah.
Do you want to do the Snacks of Life theme song with me? And I'll try to do my best Mike Rita impression.
Okay.
And I'm not as good as he is with the...
So I just have to sing the chorus line, the snacks of life. The snacks of life.
Yeah, every time they say facts, you replace it with snacks.
I think you can do that.
And I'll...
I mean, he'll become your new guest on your show.
I gotta like really hype. Have you heard Mike do the intro?
Yeah.
He's got like a fucking...
I didn't even know it was Mike doing that.
Like, really, you should be doing the intro because you have a radio voice.
I have the voice, yeah. If you got the words or whatever, yeah.
I don't know what he says. He just says it, man. He just says it every week.
Yeah, he's got it down pat, right?
He does.
It's just like he came up with that Cannamatch thing.
He did it off the top of his head.
He's a smart man.
Mike.
We miss you, buddy.
We love you, Mike.
All right. From British Columbia, Mission, British Columbia.
All right, Glenn, here we go. Are we ready?
Yep.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have
the snacks of life. The snacks of life.
There's a time you gotta go and show you grow, and now you know about
the snacks of life.
The
snacks of life.
When the world never...
Welcome to the Snacks of Life podcast. I'm your host, the Snack Man. I'm joined by CEO and founder Glenn Wells of Cannamatch.ca, proud sponsor and supporter of the show. If you're a stoner, 420 is your thing. You don't need to put 420 in friendly in other dating apps. Go to Cannamatch.ca and find your stoner friend.
Yeah, or date.
I mean... You can find all sorts of stuff there, right?
You can find, we do all kinds, you can go live there. There's games to play there. There's all kinds of stuff, right? We even have a couples section, and it's not for the couples like you would think. It's more like if you travel to another place where it's pot friendly, you can reach out to the couples.
Oh, it's not for swingers.
No, well, whatever you do, whatever you do, okay?
So it is for swingers.
I don't know. What you do privately is what you do. But the intent was to not disclude people who already had partners. When I was passing out pamphlets, they would say, no, thank you, I already have a girlfriend. Or no, thank you, I already have a boyfriend.
Right.
So we came up with the idea of doing a couple section so that if you travel, say, from Vancouver to San Francisco and you want to find some people who smoke pot and where to get it, you can reach out to the couples on Cannamatch. Now you've made now you've made some friends.
Genius. And you know what? It should be said, Cannamatch was founded in what year?
6 years ago. So 97? No.
2017?
Yeah, 2017.
Bro, you did some wild math there, my dude. You can tell that Glenn is a OG in this game when he does math like that. Holy shit. It should be stated that that's a very important thing because if you were in 2017 and even now going to certain places in the U.S. and so forth, finding somebody that is canna friendly in those areas is easier said than done sometimes.
Yep.
So that's a great feature.
And the whole idea is that you don't have to go and see somebody on the corner that you don't know. You can reach out to other pot friendly people and see if they can help you out too, right?
The internet is great for that, really.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I used to be on Reddit.
Okay.
And I once went to the Super Bowl in here. There's a Snack Man lighter.
Oh, nice.
You can have that.
Snack Man lighter.
I went to the Super Bowl the day before the Super Bowl in Houston, and had a person that I met on Reddit pick me up at the airport, drive me around town, had weed, had blunts. We went out for barbecue and met a friend, cool guy, and he was just like, a fellow stoner that was like, hey man, if I ever come to Toronto, and I was like, yeah, for sure, I'll return the favor, like. If you ever need anything, hit me up. And
that's it.
And the internet's great like that, right?
And stoners are great like that because once you meet somebody, even if you spark up a joint on the street, if somebody comes up to you and say, hey man, that smells good. Yeah. They smoke. Now you turn around and you do what every other stoner does. Hey man, would you like some?
Yeah.
Right? Unless,
Yeah, it depends on what the person looks like and how new their shoes are.
Nowadays, you just never know. We're not discriminating against anybody.
Yeah, I always look at the sneakers.
Do you?
Yeah, that's a tour thing. Is you got to look at the sneakers, man. If you're like, if you got some really New Balance 2000 long cutters on, then I'm like, and you're in some like khaki shorts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With like a polo shirt or something, or see, because in the United States, when you're on tour and you're going to concerts and stuff like that, they still have undercover cops there. So
so you check their shoes.
check their shoes, man. You know what I mean? Because nobody that's going to a show and you know that's going to a festival or anything like that is wearing new shoes.
See, I'm so OG that we used to do white walls on the tires.
Oh, yeah.
So you'd never know that it's an undercover cop if they didn't have white walls during those times when we were in the 70s.
Right, like the
80s.
Vogues.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
The cops always had black tires on
Right.
the undercover cars.
Right.
So that's almost a similar thing. Yes, you go for sneakers. I used to look for white walls.
Yeah, because you only have a few moments to really judge somebody when you're walking in a group of people at a concert or you're on the lawn, right?
Yeah. And man, those guys that are undercover, they are deep undercover. They could look like you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They beard, long hair, stoner, whatever, glasses, everything, man, right?
Yeah. Are you saying I look like a cop?
No, I'm saying cops look like you.
Oh, they want to look like me because I look like a stoner.
See how I
Okay, I got you. All right. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely something that I think that's probably why I get stereotyped occasionally.
Oh, yeah. I've been stereotyped too.
Yeah, I look like I belong. You were telling me earlier that you got into concerts at an early age.
Yep, in my 20s.
And saw some crazy shit, dude.
Oh, man. I had my uncle there. Well, we called him uncle. He was the manager of Teenage Head, so I know Frankie and everything like that. And I just got into meeting Jim Brown. At the time was head of security for Ticketmaster and all that stuff. So he got me into a concert for 3 days at Maple Leaf Gardens with the Who.
Right.
And that was my very, very first big concert.
That was your first big concert, was the Who at Maple Leaf Gardens?
Yes.
You hear that, Flyer Vault?
3 days of it. We're staying in the College Place Hotel right beside the Maple Leaf Gardens, which is not there anymore. It's
were you
grocery store.
You working?
I was doing errand stuff. So during the day, I was doing errands, and at night, I was the assistant boom operator.
So you worked a fucking bump mic?
Nope, camera. So back then, those cameras that went up in the air and they had the camera guy in the front, they was run by a hydraulic system.
And you were the driver?
No, I was the guy who pushed the button in case the hydraulic system shut down while he was all the way up.
So all you had to do was push a button?
Push a button, $250 a night.
$250 a night to watch the Who and press a button if you have to. Which you shouldn't have to.
No, but they didn't have those kind of controls back then, so that's exactly what I did. In the back of Maple Leaf Gardens, there's this camera that's way up there because we were filming it up, and I was at the bell.
It's so fucked because, like, now I was at Rolling Loud. Are you familiar with Rolling Loud? It's a big hip-hop festival.
Okay.
And side stage was this guy, and he was sitting in a chair, and he had a VR headset on, and he was the one that was working the drone. And he was in virtual reality flying the drone around the crowd.
Oh, that's cool.
Doing all of the stuff and the camera angles
that a boom would do.
That boom would do from a drone that's about the size of this soundboard.
Yep.
And he's virtually looking at the camera to line everything up in his... Blew my fucking mind. And then you look at the videos that these guys produce, and it's insane.
Yep.
It's insane. The technology that we have is so hard to try to explain. Like, I wonder about that sometimes, where it's like, if you were to able to go back and explain, like, I said to my grandma, like, you're a Jetson. And she's like some of the shit is like literally like the Jetsons, right? Like, my sister just recently started ER again.
Oh, wow, eh?
And she's been watching ER, and I got into a tangent on her, and I was like, back in 95, if you didn't catch ER when it came out, you know what? You were fucked. There was the rerun. You were fucked.
Yeah.
There wasn't even the West Coast side to catch it 3 days later, 3 hours later.
Yeah.
Or, in your case, 3 hours earlier, watching the Eastern.
Yeah.
I was like, the best you'd get would be next week. You'd get the what happened, what you missed next week.
Or from your friends.
Or from your friends telling you.
Yeah,
and now you can just they drop a season, you just get stuck in your hole for fucking ever. It's like 275 hours.
Wow. So what should we smoke next? The pine tar or from.
And you brought some flavors.
Oh,
Haha, Mike.
Buddy, I'll leave you something. Yeah, I got some from my favorite grower. She's an awesome woman. Her name is Michelle. She grew some pine tar for you guys to smoke. And then I have my
Did
friend.
you meet Michelle on Cannamatch?
No.
Okay.
No, Michelle was introduced to me by another friend.
Okay.
So he lives way up in BC and said, hey, you two would be probably good. And we're friends. We've been good friends for about 8 months now.
Yeah.
So, and then we'll go over things.
That's the lady that I met at the 420 Cup, right?
Yeah, you did. Yes.
Yes.
Awesome lady.
Awesome lady.
Awesome lady.
So what I'm going to do is I guess we're going to have to smoke Mike's portion of all this.
Yeah. So what should we do? Try the pine tar first? Or I got my friend from Mission, some Death Bubba. Death Bubba.
Whatever, man. Whatever's clever.
Okay.
I won't ever say no.
All right. I think we're going to go ladies first.
Okay. Go with Michelle.
We'll do ladies first, all right? Yeah.
Okay. So we did have a couple calls. Last week, if you'll recall, we ordered a pizza and then had a great conversation. You haven't heard this yet.
No, because it comes out tomorrow, right?
It comes out tomorrow, but people will have listened to this by the time we talk to it. We had the pizza lady, Jen, show up.
Yeah.
And Jen was cool. We had a conversation about addiction and about small towns. Her son was 52 days clean, so I guess he'll be about 59 days clean now. And Jen called into the show just to say hello the next day, so we'll play Jen's call.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's Pizza Jen. Got your number at work. Made me laugh. Yeah, I had to drive some drunk people home last night, so I forgot to comment on the pod. Well, we'll talk to you soon. You got my number now. You can text. Okay, thanks. Bye.
I don't know if you know how interactive this podcast has become, but we've got quite the array of people that call into the show. We've got Big Terp. Big Terp's been on the show.
Yeah. Cocaine Brian.
Cocaine Brian, yeah. Cocaine Brian. And speaking of Cocaine Brian, he also called in. We've assembled our own little snack pack, as we call them.
The snack pack.
The snack pack,
Right,
yeah. And well, on the since you know about Cocaine Brian, we have a voicemail from Cocaine Brian.
Do you?
Yeah. He was commenting on the previous week's episode, so
all right.
we might as well just get right to this, Glenn.
Yeah, hey, why not?
Again, guys, Cannamatch.ca founder Glenn Wells is here with me. Mike Rita is MIA right now, so we'll see what ends up happening with that. Hopefully he's better soon.
Yes, get better soon, Mike.
Hey, Snacks, Mikey, how you guys doing? It's Brian. Well, you guys know because of my voice.
He's trying to get rid of the cocaine
The
part.
reason why I'm calling, watching the Beck thing, and you guys talk about AI art. Listen, I've been trying to download this AI art thing for like 4 days now. I can't figure this shit out. Like, thank God for artists like Beck that all we got to tell them is say, yo, make a cartoon out of me, and they know exactly what to do. I can't even figure out this AI shit. So I don't think this AI thing's going to fly. But anyways, guys, you guys are doing a great time, great show. Talk to you guys soon. Cocaine Brian out.
He's trying to drop the Cocaine Brian, and he says Cocaine Brian out.
Yeah, okay, so maybe he isn't trying to drop the Cocaine Brian part. Cocaine Brian. He makes a valid point, though, because since we were talking about the AI art, I tried to download the AI art thing. Yeah, crack that. Shout out Liquid Death. I need that too, actually.
Here we are, dear. Oh, you got one? All right.
Yeah, I got one here.
Okay. Thank you very much, Liquid Death. It's water.
Okay, so I downloaded the
Mountain water.
Yeah.
No, okay. This is not like Ontario mountain water, right?
no, it's from Austria.
Austria? Okay, because
Austria,
Ontario thinks that it has mountains.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, come on. Why do they calling with Blue Mountain?
Because they're on crack, bro. It's horrible.
I'm from BC. I live on a goddamn mountain.
Yeah, man. You know what? They didn't call it Collingwood Elevation because there's none there. I remember on that token, and I've never actually snowboarded Whistler or any of the crazy ones out west, but I remember being a kid and riding Blue Mountain
Really, eh?
on a snowboard and then going to Mount Tremblant. and barely being able to make it down my first run because it was almost a mountain at that point, right?
Yeah.
In the Laurentians, but there's not.
No, the only mountains are well in Canada are around British Columbia and Alberta and stuff like that, and on the island too.
Yeah,
Washington, well, that's in the States.
yeah. I mean, in Quebec, they get some elevation.
Yes,
because like Vermont it gets pretty good there, but it's nothing compared to. Man, let's be realistic. When you get off the plane in Vancouver,
or Abbotsford,
it's beautiful, man. The mountains are gorgeous. It's so beautiful out there. It's so picturesque. That's the thing that it always sticks with you, right?
You know what I like about British Columbia is that it changes so much, right? Each season is different. Some of the, like in the summertime, you don't have very much snow in the mountains, but as soon as it starts to snow again, they become white and majestic and beautiful against the blue sky and stuff like that. You got all the trees that lose their leaves, and then they almost like the Don Valley. Yeah. Right here, right?
Yeah, I used to always say that about Ontario, that we have 4 unique seasons. But now, quickly as I've grown old and my body hurts, I've realized that we actually have 3 seasons in Ontario. We have summer, we have winter, and we have rain.
With no spring.
Well, spring and fall is just cold rain, and it's horrible. Yeah. And it's just disgusting. I think that the one thing that I love about BC is it's the same as certain places in California, is that you can get both opposites. You could be on the beach one day, and then you could be in the mountains the next day.
So you could be either on English Bay, and then about an hour and a half to 2 hours you're in Whistler.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And you could ski and swim in the same day if you really wanted to.
Yep. Oh yeah.
In certain times, so that's balling.
And jet ski, do both skiing, one on snow, one on water, right? So that's beauty about British Columbia, and it's so much fresh air. There's so many trees there producing oxygen for us, and statistically, people who live in British Columbia live the longest.
That makes sense.
Statistically, yes, right?
Yeah, it's a lot less stressful.
It is. It is very laid back.
No matter what,
even the cannabis industry is different on the other side of the mountains. The community is, anyways. It's a bit different. We are a little bit more laid back in British Columbia, but we've been smoking and doing the pot thing for a long time. BC, Vancouver's always been known as a good pot town, right?
Since the beginning,
your BC bud is from BC, right? So
yeah,
BC bud's got that label on it.
What would you say the biggest difference between the Toronto weed scene and the Vancouver weed scene over the years is?
2 differences. One, Ontario people, some, not everybody, like to rush it. So you used to get a lot of wet weed. When you bought a gram of weed, it was still a little bit fresh. So you weren't really getting a gram by the time it was dry.
Okay.
In BC, no wet weed. We waited the time because we really liked our weed, right?
Right.
So that would be one of the biggest differences. And then just the attitude. The attitude here is more towards the Ottawa attitude, whereas in BC, we can smoke a joint pretty much anywhere. Walk down the street, smoke a joint, somebody's going to say hi to you, they don't care.
It's been like that way before legalization, too.
Yes.
I mean, Ontario was fairly lax even before legalization with smoking outside. But after legalization, the rules in Ontario, I will say, for smoking cannabis are a lot better than some other places that have legal weed in like the States and so forth, where you can smoke it anywhere. You can smoke cigarettes. And there's controversy whether that's the best method. But Vancouver, like I remember back in the day going to those 420 days at the library.
You mean art gallery?
The art gallery.
At the art gallery.
The art gallery.
That's where I met Neil.
Yeah, the co-host or the guy that you're on his podcast.
I'm the producer of the THC show with Neil Magnuson on Cannabis Culture and Pot TV.
Right, and to that note, cannabis culture as a brand was really like at the forefront of everything
before legalization.
And there's a lot to be said. That's a whole other podcast episode.
Yes.
If you want to go down the rabbit hole that is that brand in its essence, which I'm not really prepared to do today.
And the store is still there. The lounge is still there. We can probably say that we're one of the Canadian places that you can smoke pot still. Where even though the government says we're not allowed to have lounges, they're still there. We still have the Amsterdam Cafe too.
Shout out Amsterdam Cafe. They
Yep.
hosted the 420 Cup that we were at, me and Mike. As they should, because they were around way before anybody ever gave a fuck.
Yeah.
That's one of the problems, I think, with legalization is there was a lot of things that no one cared about that all of a sudden changed, and you're like, wait, what? Like, so you mean to tell me for years we had cannabis lounges and you guys just were like, whatever, it's not tobacco, and then it gets looped in with tobacco,
And then Toronto had some. We had that place that was by the lake.
There's been a lot of different cannabis lounges over the years in Toronto.
Yeah.
The first one was probably Rocherama, the Hot Box Cafe in Kensington, Abbey Roach. Kindred Cafe is an old one. Vapor Central, Vape on the Lake, Planet Paradise.
Vape on the Lake, that's the one I've been to.
And that was a little bit down the line.
Yeah.
I think that at one point, didn't Marco have something to do with that?
I don't know. I just I went there because of Karma Cup. I was here for Karma Cup advertising Cannamatch.
Oh.
Right? So, and that was one of the places that they were having...
Fair enough.
They're one of them, shows or with the judging, and there was some glass going on there too, so... Yeah.
So the Toronto scene, in your opinion, is a little more corporate, and the Vancouver scene is a little more counterculture still.
There's a lot more legal cannabis stores here, I think, in Ontario than there are in British Columbia. They're almost everywhere, right? So
yeah, we've talked about that.
This is where the difference I would think is that people from Ontario seem to go towards more of the government way of doing it, whereas in British Columbia, we're still fuck you. We want to just do it the way we want to do it.
Yeah,
the gray market, right?
Yeah.
Why should I go pay $15 a gram straight up for an ounce when I can get an ounce for $100 from my neighbor or his neighbor or whatever, right?
And it's I've said that so many times because I've ranted about legal weed on the show quite a bit.
Yeah.
And how it's not that I'm against legal weed. My problem with legal
because it's not good.
Right. I'm against it because the people that are running it aren't people that ever would have, like I say, that would never have got into the counterculture to start with.
Exactly.
They're in it for the wrong reasons.
Yes.
So when I see someone that goes legacy to legal, I give them a little more respect, and I tend to give, I know people that have done enough for the culture that eventually will go legal or have gone legal. I know there's good people involved.
No, I know one personally.
We all do.
Redbeard.
Right.
Patrick.
Yeah, and I don't mind supporting Ross.
Yeah.
Ross, another person, like, if there's legal weed, I've said I'll smoke, but I'm also not going to pretend that if legal weed is smoked on this podcast, and somebody provides weed for this podcast to be smoked on this podcast, I would never say this weed is good if it's not fucking good.
Yeah.
And I'm sure as fuck not going to say this weed is good if it's good and it's overpriced.
Yeah.
Because
I'm not going to say it's good if it's going to be irradiated.
Well, and that's another thing.
Yes.
If it doesn't compete with the black market on quality and on price.
Yeah, and taste.
Quality and price.
Yeah.
Taste is in that quality.
Yeah, I guess.
I smoke dabs at home.
Yeah.
So do I. If you tell me that I have to pay $70 a gram for legal dabs that are $20 a gram anywhere else.
30 in BC.
30 a gram,
30 yep. For shatter, live resin, butter.
So no. Now, if you can produce a legal product that can compete with the black market on quality and on price and all of that, then hey man, I will smoke it. I will fucking say it's good. I will say the same way I would do with anything else. Yeah. The same way I would with a car. The same way I would with any other product, any other commodity. You know what I mean? You can't just tell me it's good if it's not fucking good.
When was the last time you were ever amazed by some weed? My experience was just recent, really recent, and I was like, wow. It was like in the old days. When was something that made you go wow when you tasted that first toke?
You know, that's the thing is that I think because I use cannabis medically.
So do I. I have scoliosis and
Yeah,
PTSD.
it's like for me the wow is like the flavors don't really matter to me that much.
Oh, me, I the
Like,
flower and the high.
Yeah,
You got to have the quality in both spots.
Yeah,
for
like I
me.
smoke a lot of weed in America.
Yeah.
Where they push exotics in America.
Okay.
In Canada, I find we like gases, we like cushes, we like hard-hitting weed.
Yeah.
And in America, I find that they like shit that tastes like candy.
Oh.
And it's evident in the way they name their strains.
Girl Scout
Listen,
cookies.
there was no it wasn't a Canadian naming it Skittles, and it wasn't a Canadian calling it gelato, and all of these fucking sugar fucking candies, and like, you know, it's not Canadians that are calling it all these blue warheads and sour fucking Laffy Taffies and all these fucking strains that are coming out.
Yeah.
Canadians are still pushing tuna cushes and fucking, you know, pre Death Bubbas and pre 98 Bubbas and things like that, right? Mm-hmm. So I smoke a lot of weed in America where I'm amazed at the flavor, but it doesn't necessarily pack the punch where I'm like, so what are we really talking about? Like, that was all fine and dandy, but like if I have to smoke a half a quarter blunt and it, you know, it's not tickling my fancy, it doesn't matter if it tastes like fucking lemonade to me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like the effect is where I'm here for. The flavor has to be there. It has to be nice, but you know, just because it tastes really good. What was that?
I heard beep 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 beep.
Yeah, that's weird.
So did I. Yeah.
You heard that?
I heard that. I thought maybe it was Mr. Rita coming in. I thought.
Bro, if he shows up now, could you imagine?
Well, that'd be cool.
It would, but like I'm gonna.
Hey, it better to be here than not. Oh, did he message you?
I don't know, man.
You're looking.
I'm gonna look.
Check it out. Yeah, go on.
Look.
Did he? Oh, come on. Me.
No,
Mike,
I don't think so.
No message from Mike.
No.
He might be sleeping, you think, eh?
I don't know, man.
How do you think? Let's give a shout out to Michelle there. How do you think? What do you think of her pine tar?
That's good. Yeah.
Good medicated?
Yeah. No, that's got punch to it.
Yeah.
That's definitely got punch to it.
I recently smoked something called Project Z, and it was wow in my mouth. As soon as I took that first toke and let it out, it was wow. It was tangy. It was it was tangy. It had a really tangy taste in your mouth. It made your mouth go wow. Right. So I asked the guy where he got it from. He let me know. Reached out on Instagram. That guy contacted me at the end of June. I'm going to have some of that Project Z.
Nice. So is it like a clone only strains, like only one guy?
I don't know. Well, I guess so. I right now I only know one person, and this quit. That batch had been sold. The next batch is up at the end of June.
Right.
$140 an ounce or $1,400 a pound. He says.
That's the going rate on some premium. That's premium.
Yeah, that's some pretty good stuff.
Dude, what's the most you ever paid for a pound of weed?
$2,000.
$2,000.
And
what year?
About 5 or 6 years ago, probably before legalization. Legalization changed.
You're not even like. When did you start smoking weed?
When it was 1981.
So like back in those days, weed was really cheap.
I was living.
What about in
I was living in Toronto and was not smoking weed. We were smoking Gold Seal, Romeo and Juliet, hash, Temple Balls, all kinds of stuff from Montreal. Right. I was selling hash at Young in college for 8 years.
You sold hash at Doug Ford?
I don't know. I don't know. There used to be an arcade just up from McDonald's at Grosvenor and Young.
Could you imagine, Mike?
I sat there for 8 years and sold grams of hash for $15 a gram or 2 for $25, and I also sold acid.
Could you imagine? You sold acid?
Yeah.
How much was $5 a hit?
Or 5 for 20.
5 for 20.
Yeah.
Microdots or blotter?
Both. The most one I had was called Weird Stone, and the title that said "Those who drink from the wizard's well fall by the wizard's will," and then in the middle was an eye, And
fuck,
that middle one
yes.
was always the most potent because back in those days we would hang the sheets.
You'd hang them.
And then you would turn them upside down to hang it that way. So the middle would always get the most.
See, I was told this story from a guy on Lot that they would soak a book.
Yeah.
And they would soak a book or a Bible.
I got 10,000 hits in a catalog.
And he said that they would soak it and then they would soak it. And he's like, the outside of both sides were like sometimes almost fuzzy when it dried. Oh, wow. And those ones were the wild ones. Yeah. And then and you could tell because of the way that
there's different methods of making your acid or drying it. But right. They used to hang on the sheets and then they would flip it over and let the other side out dry. And that's it. It had 10,000 1,000 page, or was it 100? Yeah, there was 100 hits. Yeah.
You know what's it's so funny now that blotter art, people collect the pages with no acid on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Because there's some amazing art.
Purple microdots, orange microdots. We had orange owl, blue owl, blue star, right?
Yeah.
White blotter. People were always a little bit worried about white blotter, but do you remember Tron, the machine? Tron, the game?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so Tron had a black light on the bottom part of it where the handle was.
Right.
So if you take your white blotter and your customer to that black light, if you show them there's acid on the paper.
Right.
Because acid
was reflective. Yeah.
Right? So that's how you would convince people, yes, this is
it's real acid,
true white blotter, yes.
Then that's the funny because back then there was just acid and now you have to worry about somebody hitting you with a blotter and it's not actually LSD.
Yeah.
It's research chemicals.
Oh, really? Back then we had to worry about strychnine. Some people would cut it with strychnine. So when I did acid very, very first time, was not the best.
No?
I had strychnine and poisoning, yes.
Yeah.
So you're sitting in the washroom thinking that you got to go crap, and you don't got to go crap, but you're sitting there for freaking hours.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, your stomach hurts so much.
Yeah, so I really didn't do acid for a little while, but then somebody turned me on to some really good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And they told me never to follow the purple dragons, and the pink dragons always follow the purple gremlins. Like, they would take you on a better trip than the dragon, right? Yeah, and then I did it.
What's your favorite acid trip? Where were you? What did you do?
White blotter.
White blotter. How many hits?
I don't know.
A lot.
Okay, so the setup is we're going to Maple Leaf Gardens to see Rush, right? And they were taping Rush in 3D for this concert. My dealer Neil see me and my buddy Al heading to the concert. He goes, come here, right? He takes us into the corner, rips us a nice piece off this white
strip,
white card, right? Here, take this for the concert. So we did. And fuck, man. Now, when you do 3D, they have 3 colored lights, red, yellow, and green. And they're going boom, 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 boom. So we are tripping on acid, and we come out of the concert, and everything's going boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, it's still going.
Right?
Wow.
So I said, Al, don't lose me, right? And he lost me. Right, and I'm standing on Wood Street behind Maple Leaf Gardens.
Yeah,
and I did this complete spin. Ow, where are you? And then when I stopped my spin, he was right there. Best trip I ever had, right there.
Yo, man, we should have given you the prize.
We rode an elevator that had a bunch of people in it, and we were trying not to laugh.
Right.
He's over in the corner. I'm over by the buttons, right? And boy, did we ever fucking start cracking up because we're trying not to laugh.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. These people are like,
what the fuck's up with these guys? Yeah. They're just spun.
That was the whole same night, man. That was great. Neil, thank you, Neil. Not the Neil that I work for now, but no.
Yeah, we had a few acid trips that were entered in our contest, but I'm pretty sure if you would have called in with I tripped on fucking acid at seen Rush in 3D at Maple Leaf Gardens, you would have took the fucking prize, brother. Wow, man.
Yeah, they were filming it. I'm sure you probably could find a 3D film of Rush at Maple Leaf Gardens, and I would have been at that concert.
Wow, that's legendary, man.
It was so cool.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
I recently
I've had a lot of cool moments with big bands.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's your favorite moment with a big band that like?
Well, I've got the 2 favorite ones. When we were told you was with the Who.
The Who, yeah.
Yeah. When you work for a rock band, you think it's just a rock band.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I was walking in the back of the stage and into the dressing rooms, and in those big black boxes that they have their instruments in,
Yeah.
they also have their own video machines, and everything was marked the Who Corporation.
Right.
Right? You didn't think it was a corporation. It was just a rock band.
You thought it was like a couple guys on stage.
Yeah, two guys having fun. Just,
Yeah.
they sat around one time and, now they're a band, right? So everything's marked the Who Corporation. They had their own Centipede, their own Tron machines. They had their own furniture brought in, right? They had these white vans that brought in a whole van load of food and a whole van load of booze.
This is in the highlights of Riders, man. When people talk about
late 80s at Maple Leaf Gardens.
Yeah, man. This is like when they talk about the Prince Riders and the Madonna Riders, and like the things that they would have requested are certain sandwiches and certain this and certain that.
Red carpet in the room.
Yeah, and the room has to be a certain way, and then the record label will recreate that same room in every single arena that they play in across the whole entire tour.
Unless they want it changed.
Unless they want something else.
Yes.
Unless they get sick of it.
Yeah.
And
then Harold Ballard gave MCA permission to have a party with the Who after the 3 days of concerts that night.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so cool.
There's so many crazy stories about that guy.
Now it's a grocery store.
Yeah, that's sad, eh? There is a hockey rink, but it's like 4 stories in the air.
Oh, really, eh?
Yeah, it's like
And then your Rogers Center in Toronto, that used to be the old mail sorting place. Because I used to work for Canada Post.
What, the Sky Dome?
No.
Oh no, you're talking about the Scotiabank Arena.
Is that what it is? Where the
Toronto Maple Leafs play?
Yes, and then the basketball team, the Raptors.
Yeah, the Raptors, correct.
Yes, so at that place, that used to be the old mail sorting place.
Yeah, so that arena was the Scotiabank. It was the Air Canada Centre.
Yes,
and then it was now called the Scotiabank Arena. It's what replaced Maple Leaf Gardens.
Yeah,
the Toronto Maple Leafs left Maple Leaf Gardens, and then the university has a practice hockey facility, but it's above the grocery store because Loblaws or Gale Weston, one of those fucks, owns the grocery store in there. But they do like weird off like celebrity games and things like that there because it's like a smaller, intimate like university practicing. But the death of Maple Leaf Gardens, so many epic things.
When was it you were talking about the Symphony of Lights? Benson and Hedges. Was that last week? Back, or was it the week before?
The week before when we were talking about,
that still happens. Maybe not here in Toronto, but in Vancouver.
But the tobacco company doesn't...
it's Honda's Celebration of Light.
Okay.
Vancouver. I've been going for every year. It's been a family tradition. My oldest kids are now adults, and now Isabel gets to go.
Right.
So it's awesome.
And they're amazing, right?
It's $1 million per show.
Per show.
Of fireworks.
And how many shows do they have?
3.
$3 million in fireworks. I went to one in Niagara Falls.
22 minutes with music.
It's so crazy, eh?
It is awesome, especially when you're watching on the ocean. Because where we have the advantage. Yeah. Well, we're sitting
You just blew my mind, bro. You're out in a fucking boat.
Well, you can do the boat thing, yes, or you can sit on this hill and just look right at the barge. And my friend always brings a ghetto blaster, and we can smoke dope there as much as you want and get the music going.
That's a vibe.
And all the people around you say thank you to you at the end of the show because you brought the music.
Yeah.
Because we're not near the speakers.
So do you have to like tune to a certain station?
There's a radio station who sponsors it. And then they think they're on the island, or it's 103.1 FM.
So
or
it's
something.
in Vancouver, or it's out of Victoria?
Vancouver, English Bay, every year. Wow. So the end of July into the BC Day weekend.
And is it a competition then?
It still is. Canada won last year.
And they'll have like 3 different countries or something.
Yeah. Do you want me to pull up the information? I can tell you.
No, man. That's enough. The people here are resourceful, man.
So if
sick.
You ever want to be somewhere nice in July, Vancouver is the place to be because it doesn't rain in July.
Right.
It's always dry. I have never hardly ever seen it. There have been some. I'm not going to say never, but there have been a few times. But
the climate in Vancouver is so superior to the climate in Toronto.
So nice to sit on an ocean and watch $1 million of fireworks go off in the sky. Yes, and with music going on, and it's
it's beautiful.
All the boats out there peep their horn,
and
everything. Right. So what we're trying to do this year is do a cannabis boat out
That'd be sick.
on the ocean to go see the fireworks.
Vancouver's always stepping it up, man. Vancouver's got some crazy
That was
shit.
hard, and that's between Adam, me, and Neil. We've always come up with this idea to have a boat. There'd be cannabis people who would pay $20 or $30 to be able to smoke on a boat on the ocean and go see 22 minutes of fireworks.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, it'd be beautiful.
That would be awesome, man.
Because Kush Cup used to do that. We'd have a boat tour at the end of the Kush Cup.
Right.
And that same company is still around. So
Right.
I'm sure we can, and Adam knows a few people, so yeah.
So you grew up in Toronto. When did you move to the West Coast?
Well, okay, so I was born at Wellesley Hospital.
Where's that?
At Wellesley.
Okay, in Toronto.
Yeah, in Toronto,
okay.
right? It's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So, and then I grew up in Mississauga when it was the town of Mississauga.
Yeah.
Right? So I went to Credit Woodland, Springfield Public School.
Yeah.
Stuff like T.L. Kennedy.
Okay.
All right. So, but then something happened to me in my childhood that I can't discuss because of an NDA.
Okay.
Right. So I started leaving Ontario and I started hitchhiking to BC when I was 16.
Right. Back when hitchhiking, you could actually like hitchhike.
Hitchhike. Well, you can still hitchhike.
Right.
You can't hitchhike in certain cities.
I mean, it's just back then it wasn't as dangerous, I guess, as it is now.
It could have been.
It could have been.
It could have been. And it probably isn't even now. It's just who you are. So I
Yeah.
always made sure that I had a shower that morning.
Yeah.
I was in clean clothes.
Yeah.
I always got good rides.
Yeah.
So I started doing that when I was 16, and then I did it for 12 years, probably in 2000 in a row.
Right.
I would travel from Mission to Mississauga
Right.
to see my mom, spend a week or two there, and
Yeah.
then I would hitchhike home again.
Right.
And that's the YouTube video I probably sent you. Or so, no, I probably sent you the 26 dabs an hour and 40
Yeah,
minutes.
you sent me the
But
one
there's
doing all the dabs.
Yeah,
I
there's
did watch that.
There's a YouTube video of me doing one of my trips too.
Right.
So I had a little Fuji camera and I took video of it all along and I turned it into a movie. So
That's sick, man.
Yeah.
So how many times do you think you've hitchhiked across Canada?
I'd say over 50.
Over 50.
Yeah.
Who, and this is going to be a crazy question, Glenn. You might not have a real answer to it because it's a lot. Who's the person that picked you up in those 50 times across Canada that stuck with you the most? Because, I mean, when I think about 50 trips across Canada, I know that's hundreds of people that out of the kindness of their heart.
Sometimes not so many hundreds.
Really?
Yeah. I had one person who will stand out. Is the only reason is because I got them both ways.
What?
Yes, both ways. Both ways.
What? So
this guy's name was Frank, and he was from Australia. He was an exchange truck driver. So somebody from Canada went to drive in Australia, and one guy from Australia came to drive in Canada.
Wow, what a cool system.
Right? So, and then he was blogging about it. Right?
What year was this?
I have to look at my
Like roughly. So this isn't like, it's got to be the advent of the internet. It's still like 2005
so
or
I would say the 90s.
in the 90s.
In
Okay.
the 90s, right?
Okay.
Right? So
Yeah, we can do decades. 90s is enough for me, bro.
so he picked me up and he took me all the way to my mom's in Mississauga and dropped me off at her front door at her apartment building. And I got his phone number, right? Like at first, truck drivers pick up and they're only going to give you a ride to a certain spot.
Yeah.
But if you can impress the truck driver,
He might take you for the rip.
He's got a double decker. You don't have to sleep with him. You just sleep up above, right?
Yeah.
So that's what he did. I made friends with Frank, and he
Right.
said, "Sure, I'm going all the way to Ontario." He said, "I'll take you all the way."
Yeah.
Right. So I got a 3-day ride with him.
Wow.
Where normally traveling from BC to Toronto was a 5-day hitchhike.
Right. And how many people on average normally? You'd hit 5-6 rides, right? Could you break it in?
I'd say about 20 people.
20 people.
Yeah, yeah. It depends on who your ride was.
Right.
If it was a short ride, if it was a long ride.
Right.
So
then he took you back to BC?
no. So what happened was, when I was coming back, I got a ride from a gentleman in a truck who took me to Edmonton.
Right.
I had Frank's phone number. I knew that Frank is going to be in Edmonton around a certain time.
Right.
I gave him a call.
Right.
He was in Edmonton.
Wow.
So he took me back all the way to BC.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and then that's why I remember him the most, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what the thing is that if you're a truck driver, you're going anyway. Somebody's paying the fuel, and if you can impress them, like you say,
Yeah.
and you can show them that you're a real person, they can trust you,
Yeah.
that you'll have their back, and you're good company, then why wouldn't they want to keep you around?
I have to correct myself. He took me to Calgary, Alberta from Edmonton.
Right.
And then I took the bus home because I was so tired.
Right.
But my opening line at all the places when I had my sign said East please or West please.
Right.
Because you never put a destination down.
You just want to get a direction.
Well, yeah, because if you put a destination, somebody could say, I'm not going to Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? He wants to ride to Toronto, right?
Yeah.
So if you say East, please, or West, please, you got compliments because, one, your sign said please.
Yeah.
Right? Two, and I would always say, hi, I'm looking for a ride. I have my own money. I'm not looking for a meal. I'm just looking for a ride.
Yeah.
Right? And that got me a lot of rides, too,
Yeah.
because I had my own money.
Yeah.
Right?
And I'll contribute.
Yeah.
I'll help.
I'll offer. The truck
Yeah.
drivers didn't need it. They
The
don't-
truck driver, well, of course, because somebody's paying for it.
Yes.
Right.
Right. So that's who I would always offer that to, was truck drivers. So because they were always being hit up for money and stuff like that, and meals and
Of course.
sad stories, right?
Yeah.
So I did the opposite and I got the rides.
Yeah, of course. And that's the thing is that you weren't looking for a handout. You didn't have a sad story. You were just looking for a direction.
I was just good
That's
looking for-
really smart, man, because I will say that most of the time when you see a hitchhiker, first of all, if they don't have a sign, you're cautious. You don't want to pick them up because you don't know where they're going.
Yeah.
And then if they do have a sign, you're right. You're like, you don't want to get into that conversation with the hitchhiker like, hey, man, I can only take you this far, because then they're in your car.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just have a direction, when you get in the car, you just say, hey,
How
like,
far east are you going?
how far
west are you going?
yeah, and I'll get off wherever.
Yep.
I had a job once where I was driving in this general area, and I used to always make a trip between a place in Ontario called Collingwood and Owen Sound, which is a hard stretch of highway along the water, and it can be really bad in the winter. And I picked up a dude that, I'll be honest, probably wouldn't be on your list of guys that looks like you should pick him up. He had a black duffel bag.
Neither did Howard Hughes, but he got picked up, right?
Right, yeah. And he had tattoos and a bald head. But I picked the guy up, and he was a nice guy, and he was going back and forth between the two towns to visit friends or something like that. And I picked him up a couple times because the same thing you just said. He was cool. I was driving anyway. I was working, and somebody else was paying my gas, and I didn't feel threatened by him. I thought he was good company, and like next time I saw him on the side of the road, I was like, oh hey, there's that cool dude from last time.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't I pick him up? And but also I feel like, without being too much of a hippie about it, that like, what you put out is what you get back. And, I spoke on it earlier where I put out into the Reddit, hey, I'm going to Houston.
Yeah.
Who wants to hang out? And I had some guy pick me up at the airport with a pack of backwoods and a quarter of flour,
There you go.
and, and a destination to go to a barbecue place. And, it's come back,
Yep.
What are we smoking now?
Death Bubba.
Death Bubba.
Yeah. From Mission, BC.
I
I don't
remember.
want to say his name.
No, you don't have
He
to.
might not. We might not like that. We were just talking about
Hitchhiking.
hitchhiking. Yes.
What other kind of crazy stories you have?
Well, okay. I was thinking about paying it forward.
Yeah.
Not even paying them forward.
Yeah.
So I pick up hitchhikers.
Of course, yeah.
Right, because I got so many rides.
It's like when you're a cook, you tip.
Safe rides too.
Yeah.
Like I would be hitchhiking in the middle of the night, and I would be picked up by some Mennonite people, and
Right.
they would say, "You're coming to our house because we're not going to put you out here in the middle of the night." And I had a lot of those offers.
Right.
Right, and I took them up. on
Yeah.
it, right, and they would set you up downstairs in their basement, and they
Yeah.
give you breakfast and set you back out on the road.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The thing that I remember the most is getting a free haircut. Okay,
Wow.
so we were in, I can't remember, St. Anne, Manitoba, and at this little town, and I came out of the motel room, and I was carrying this heavy bag, and I have scoliosis, so I asked this guy who was pumping gas if he would give me a ride to the highway, and he said, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
So he took me to the wrong side of the highway, because the Trans-Canada goes this way, and then you have to cross over, and then it goes the other way,
Right.
So he says, don't worry about it. He says, we're going to Winnipeg later on. I'm going to take you home, give you some breakfast, and then me and the wife will give you a ride into Winnipeg.
Sick.
Great. So we pull in the St. Anne, and it says hair salon. He says, I tell you what. I said, I know what we can do for you. He says, we're going to get you a free haircut, right? Because his wife is the only hair salon person for this little town, right?
Right.
So it's Canada Day.
Right.
So I got a free haircut on Canada Day from a complete stranger's wife, and I told her, and if you're listening now, I have never forgot about you.
Wow.
Yes, I know. Eh?
That's the kindness of Canadians right there, eh? They're like, you know what,
in
man?
the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
Instead of me dropping you off on the highway, I got you one better.
Yeah.
Come to my house. I'm going to cut your hair. I'm going to feed you, and then I'm going to drive you farther west.
No,
Or east. You were going east that way?
East at that time, yeah.
Fair enough.
And then the person I've ever picked up would be a medicine man.
You picked up a medicine man.
His name is Trevor Wolfchild.
Trevor Wolfchild.
Yes, he's on my Facebook. He's one of my friends.
Okay.
And
You picked him up where?
I think it was in Golden.
Okay.
But I got to set this up. I'm in Calgary.
Okay.
I'm having breakfast.
Yeah.
I see Trevor hitchhiking and asking other people for a ride.
Yeah.
And then when I come out for breakfast, he was gone.
Okay. He caught a ride.
Now all of a sudden, I see him standing on the corner in Golden.
Right.
And I know, well, it must be safe to take this guy because he's here. He's not hiding because he just killed somebody. Right?
Yeah, fair enough.
Sort of thing, right?
Yeah, he's made it this far,
Yes.
so he's safe.
I pick him up.
So wait, did you ask he was hitchhiking, or you asked him like, "Hey man, do you need a ride?"
No, he was hitchhiking.
He was hitchhiking.
But I'd seen it the second time, so now I pulled over.
Right.
Right. The first time I was eating.
And he was a cool dude.
Yeah. What happened was he was revisiting a love of his.
Okay.
Finally, he had got back into, but he had some turmoil about it. And when we talked, he spoke to me and he said that I was supposed to be there for him. And
Wow.
I was the ride that he was kind of waiting for.
Wow.
Yeah. It was really, really touching.
That's very.
Yeah.
That's the type of things that.
And being from a medicine man, I'm sure he knew what he was talking about, right?
Yeah.
And that I was supposed to be there to help him see his way.
to where he was going.
Yeah. Oh, and to talk about his past feelings and what happened because it didn't work out so well,
Right.
and stuff like that. But now
The conversation that he needed.
you have,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's something very special to be able to give to somebody that you've just met, a complete stranger, and to have them be comfortable with you and to be able to
I've
confide
had
in you like
girls
that.
fall asleep that I picked up hitchhiking because they were so comfortable with me.
Yeah.
Where I could have been a creep and done something to them.
Yeah.
But they just passed out.
Yeah, they were so thankful that they felt safe.
Yep.
Yeah, and you know what? That comes down to energy.
Yeah.
That comes down to the energy.
Yeah, I had that energy.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I know I'm an old soul.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if you know about angel cards, but I had my angel cards read a while ago, and I came up as a rare number. And one of the things of the rare number was I had karmic debt from a past life.
So you were real good in the past life.
Yeah. And so she said I would have to repay this karmic debt, and I was like, oh my god, how am I going to do this?
Right.
What am I going to do?
Right.
How do I pay back karmic debt?
Yeah.
And then weed got legalized.
Right.
And then I started doing videos on Facebook and without doing YouTube because I didn't want to get paid to tell the truth.
Right.
That cannabis wasn't as bad as the government told you.
Right.
Right. So I did 3 years of those videos day after day going, good morning, Facebook.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
People are good afternoon. People would love it. Their children would hear it. They'd come and watch me and stuff like that. Right.
Right.
So I was doing dabs and it was always a positive thing.
Right.
And so now I've realized how I've helped pay back my karmic debt.
Right.
Without even, I was panicking without even knowing it until.
That's a weird trip to put on someone.
3 years later, you realize this is how you're paying it back. You're helping other people. I help people in the community. I help people get things in the community. So, you know,
Right.
like if you've got cancer, I can help you get RSO and get you healthy again and stuff like that. I know people that will give you a special price as long as you have a diagnosis of cancer.
Right. Turmoil
Yeah,
and stuff. Yeah.
there's- I know a lot of people being who I am now, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and
And you're able to help them. And
Yes.
that's why you're here.
yeah, I didn't have to worry about how I was going to do it. Karma brought me it.
Right. Well, and I think that's anything good, right?
Yeah.
If you're doing it without knowing you're doing it, then you're doing something really right.
Yeah.
Right? You're doing it for the right
I'm
reasons.
comfortable where I am.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with me, who I am now, after 12 years of PTSD, psychology, psychiatric
Right.
help and stuff like that. So I just was recently discharged from his office and stuff like that. He says, well, you're a totally different man than I was before. And this guy only took me on because he doesn't usually take on patients like a regular doctor does. He only takes on people he knows he can help.
Right.
And he
That
came to me-
want help
he
and
came to me. He said, "I think I can help you.
Right.
I'm a very good doctor." He's the head of psychiatry in our area.
Right.
And he said, "Come see me."
right.
And it was 12 years later.
Right.
12 years, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Dr. Peter Strauss. I was pretty cool.
He's changed your life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Toastmasters.
And Toastmasters.
Toastmasters, yeah. That's where you learn how to do public speaking.
Oh,
That's
wow.
how I had the courage to do the videos on Facebook.
Right.
Yeah, Toastmasters.
So he put you up to that.
No, my Isabel, my daughter's mom did.
Okay.
She said, you need something to find something to do.
Yeah.
Right? And,
you need an outlet for that
yeah,
energy.
and I was like, no, I'm not going to go do that.
Yeah.
Right. So, but they allowed me to talk about cannabis.
Right.
So I was comfortable there. And then I became their media president.
Right.
Because I was getting good with the media and stuff like that. So,
Right.
yeah.
Well, that's amazing, man.
And
What made you find cannabis? Like, what was the turning point? You obviously said you'd smoked it for a long time, but like, what was your epiphany moment when you were like, "This is it"? Because I think we all have that as people that love cannabis, where that moment when you're like, "Okay, I like it." It's that snap, right?
Okay. So I was in group homes from the age of 11 to 16. And they were medicating me with 500 milligrams of chlorpromazine 3 times a day.
That sounds like a lot of something I don't want.
Fuck, I was tranquilized like you would not believe.
Wow.
They said I was hyperactive because of what had happened to me when I was 11 years old.
Right.
I wasn't telling anybody about it.
Right.
And I was
Right, you were acting out in trauma.
Right.
Of
They
course.
thought it was depression
Yeah.
or being hyperactive and, having problems. So they medicated me for 5 years. And then at that time when you were 16, you were no longer a ward of Children's Aid.
Right.
You were just
You could
left
do your own thing.
You're left on the street.
So that's why you went to Vancouver. Or you went west or whatever.
I just started smoking weed because you asked me how I found that smoking weed made me almost feel like I was on the chlorpromazine.
Right.
I knew how to work and operate myself on that medicine.
Right.
Cannabis.
And that's when you found it. So 16.
Yeah, and then I started having my scoliosis pain, which I was diagnosed at the age of 11. I'm having scoliosis. I have Sherman's disease, which is a curvature of the lower spine.
Right, that's what my cousin had.
Yeah, so I have that. I was supposed to be in a wheelchair by 40, and I'm now 58 and still walking.
Wow.
And that is probably because I was a walking courier in Toronto and a biking courier for 8 years instead of sitting behind a desk.
Right.
So
yeah, you just kept active.
The walking helped. I've got to say, I don't know that because I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
But I'm still walking.
Well, they say that though. Like if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
Especially when you get into like older age. I'm dealing with a grandmother that's in a wheelchair at home, and it's like she stopped being active and then had a fall.
Yeah.
And then now she's in a wheelchair and she probably will be in a wheelchair for the rest of her life now.
Wow.
And she's in her 90s, so it is what it is at that point. But at the same time, she didn't maintain activeness. And then you see some people that are running marathons late into their 80s and stuff like that, but they never stopped.
Yeah.
They never actually stopped doing activities.
Sweet.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
This is the Death Bubba.
That's the Death Bubba. Tell me if you got a sweet taste from that.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't taste like a normal,
No,
like the normal Kush.
The pine tar was nice. It was really, really, really good. And this one's just right up there. It's nice. I like that.
Yeah, you definitely brought some wow.
Clean ash, yeah. And then we got a bag of do-si-do. You were talking about the professor and his bag? Well, I figured I'd bring a bag.
Yeah, Sterling.
Good friend of mine. I love the guy.
Yeah, we just walked into the Afro Man concert with like a pound bag.
Oh, I was so lucky to meet Afro Man, and then Mike got to meet Afro Man.
Yeah.
I didn't know Mike wanted to do that. I could have walked him over there and said, "Hey, Afro Man, this is Mike Rita."
Yeah.
Because I was one of the people that helped put that whole thing together at that park.
Yeah, I got to meet Afro Man. It's like Mike.
I gave him one of my joints with the shadow in it.
Oh, did you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was like Mike. You're Mike Rita, man. We can make this happen.
Yeah.
Shout out Afro Man. Very nice guy, actually.
Yeah, he was a great guy. I loved him. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the 420 concert later that night was great.
At Enzo's.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I had a great time.
The after party.
Yeah, that was a great time. And Vancouver definitely knows how to throw cannabis events.
Yes.
Vancouver, and they're very casual. That's like back to your thing. Like they are very casual. Mm-hmm. I will say that.
Yeah, we're not as uptight as some places can be on the other side of the mountain. Right?
I love how that you don't even make it an East Coast West Coast thing.
No,
it's like other side of the fucking mountain.
Yeah, it's like the mountain is a big wall, right? Anything on that side, but that's, you know what? It's got its good things too. Because when I was hitchhiking, I always had a big bag of weed because I believed in grass or ass. Nobody rides for free.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I was low on money, I'd walk into a small town and say, I got some BC bud. Where can I sell some?
Yeah.
And they would go over to the gas station, go see this guy.
Yeah. This
And
guy will buy it.
And then I would sell him BC bud at BC bud prices.
Right.
Which was
unheard of.
Fuck, they were paying like $40 a gram for something that I would get in small little, like Kenora, Ontario, or Wawa,
Fuck
or
yeah.
White River, or something like that, right? Right. They were paying $40 a gram for that.
Right.
I'd walk in and say $10.
Yeah.
You want a half ounce? $50.
Yeah. Because you're from the other side of the fucking mountain.
Yes. You were God.
Yeah.
You were God because the weed smelled good.
There's stories about that of like in the United States about how the Deadheads would come from California on tour and they'd hit all of these like red states. They'd hit Indiana, they'd hit Ohio, they'd hit Pennsylvania, all these places where you couldn't get weed and stuff.
Yep.
And when the tour came through, there was all these same people. They were trying to get money for concert tickets. They were trying to get money for gas to get to the next show. They were trying to get money for lodging, and they were selling California bud. A lot of the strains, and I've talked about this on the podcast, the counterculture, that's the roots of all of this stuff is the hippie movement and everything, right? And a lot of the famous strains have ties to those movements and those places, like the headbands and the diesels and stuff like that. Have ties to Deer Creek and places like that. It's interesting because that the BC bud at one point was the best possible thing. And then there was a change where it got a bad rap around North America, I will say, for the commercial BC bud, the Beasters. And there was an era there where like people didn't want BC bud.
Yep.
But I think that was more because the term BC bud became more of a marketing thing and less of an actual locality. Like it wasn't
Unless
necessarily
you're
from
OG like me.
you were obviously living in BC, but like I mean, people in Ontario, people in I remember people in the US always talking about how BC bud, because there was a lot going across the border back in the day, how like the quality, it was mids, you know what I mean? It wasn't as good.
Funny how you say that, because I can tell you a story.
I would love to hear one.
You want to know how Tuna Kush got its name, Tuna Kush?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, okay, so they would pack the tuna or the weed in tuna cans, which you've seen. I just bought some.
Yeah, tons of people did the tuna can thing. Yeah,
so they would send that across on the boat to Seattle.
Okay,
and they would send back those tuna cans full of cocaine, because remember, it was pound for
pound. Yeah,
yes. So that's how the tuna got its name, Tuna Kush, because they were packing in tuna cans and sending it on the boat, because there was a fishing vessel.
Yeah, of course.
To the places in the States where they would swap it out.
Interesting.
Yes.
That's a good little piece of weed folklore.
Yeah, I got told that. I don't know that. I was told that also, but from the person I know.
Yeah. I remember hearing stories about people in kayaks, like taking across pound for pound.
Oh, yeah.
Sea kayak.
People getting caught, stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the border there is so close, and being a maritime border.
I got a friend that lives on the border, right on the reserve. Right on Beach Avenue. When you turn on their street, the board, the customs is right there.
Right.
It says if you don't turn around here, you cannot turn around again.
Yeah.
This is your last turnaround spot, right? Because like if you, I've seen that show where Canadians have made that mistake and they've had some pot in their car and they got stuck and they had to cross the border and now they're in trouble, right? Because back then it was I think it's still illegal to bring it across the border, even though it's legal on both sides. It's kind of stupid, but.
Yeah, that comes down to it's not federally legal in the U.S.
Yeah. But somebody was supposed to change that.
I haven't heard much about that, Sleepy Joe. That has to do with the federal, because the border is federally regulated, right?
Yeah.
That's why when COVID was a thing, the border was different, and it was the same across all of Canada, even though the provinces had different rules and shit.
Yeah.
And it's the same for America, because I cross quite often into New York State.
Yeah.
And to your point, in Canada, you can buy weed in a OCS store, like a dispensary, or you can buy it on the reserve very close to the border.
Yeah.
You can't take it across the border, but 15 minutes on the other side of the border, you can go to the reserve in New York State and you can buy weed at a dispensary there. And New York State has the exact same laws as far as where you can consume cannabis.
Oh.
So you can consume cannabis in New York State recreationally as an adult.
Yeah.
Anywhere you can smoke cigarettes.
Oh, good.
So when you go to Darien Lake and you go to venues like that, you can just smoke. And it's like, it's almost exactly like being back home, except for, like you say, don't get caught bringing weed either across either spot.
Yeah.
Across the border yet.
Even like you got a little piece in your car or whatever. Even
Yeah.
a roach or
Yeah,
whatever.
they've asked
Your
me
pipe-
questions.
Your pipe could have resin in it, and they can fuck you for that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
I used to travel with the Peak. Shout out Puffco. We still haven't got our stuff.
I love my Puffco.
Yeah, you brought two.
Yes. These Puffcos have been on actual peaks, and I've done video Puffco peak on top of a peak.
Wow,
Yes,
that's pretty
right,
dope.
yeah,
Because
so-
you got real mountains in BC.
Exactly. Yeah. Just have to go for a 2-hour
I used to
drive.
I used to really like taking that across the border because it was very simple to clean and make sure that it's nice and clean when you go through places, right?
Did Mike ever tell you about his trip into the mountains with Sterling and I? When
No.
we were listening to Glen FM. Have you heard about Glen FM?
No.
Oh, really? Eh?
No.
Oh, wow. Yeah. It's great. It was great. Mr. Reed, I don't know. Dude,
He told me he went to the glass gathering in the mountains, but I don't know if it's the same story.
No. That's before, but that's what I was talking to you about earlier. If he was here, I would be asking him. Yeah, they
where
would
the fuck is he?
They would like him to come back this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll just say that here, and if you want to do it, you reach out to me because Cannamatch will fly you there.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I was gonna call him, but
Anyways, yeah, so we were playing some really good music on my Spotify playlist, which is called Glen FM,
okay.
right? And certain songs in certain spots really hit Mike in the heart.
Okay.
And yeah, there's some waterworks happening. And
Oh, he cried on you?
Yeah, and it was beautiful crying. It wasn't
Wow.
sad crying. He was like, I'm really
Tears of
glad-
joy.
I'm really glad I'm here right now,
Yeah.
listening to this and seeing all this.
Yeah.
So
It's so. I mean, man. Anywhere you look up
another
there
way
is
I
like
did
a.
something right. I don't know why.
Anywhere you look up there is like a beautiful picture. You can't help but be touched.
This was part of Mom Cup when he was at Mom Cup,
Right.
And we had a few hours. It was over. I said, "There's
Bro,
still some daylight left. Let's go for a trip into the
How
mountains."
many fucking things does BC have,
Well,
brother?
lots, man. I've got so.
Bro,
many-
they got like fucking 10 a week. What the fuck?
I'm a judge. I've been a judge in most of them.
How many fucking weed cups have you judged?
At least
Hundreds.
25. At least 20. No, probably even more than that. I've got all my Lancets at home, and I've got one probably in my bag there from the lost one.
Bro, it's like there's used to be one.
That's why I'm a connoisseur. That's why I was always talking about the Project G, that weed that just made my mouth explode, man. It's like I haven't had anything like that.
I remember the
Since
first.
the 80s,
Do you remember
probably.
smoking the original UK cheese?
No.
No.
I remember the original skunk.
Yeah.
Right, they were like real skunk. Like the first time I ever smoked BC skunk.
Yeah.
I drove my car into a ditch in Surrey.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, it's kind of like
Was it the weed's
Here-
fault, or you
here-
just suck
here-
at driving?
no, it was the sign on the corner's fault. So yes, so what,
I need to get that with that
Yeah,
electrical
be-
sign
be-
everywhere. The sign.
in Ontario, you have the signs on this corner and you make the turn this way. In British Columbia, they have the sign on this corner. So I thought it was like Ontario. I drove past the sign and went into the ditch. All right, because there was no lights. It was a construction area. There was no lights there. I drove my little yellow Fiesta.
So it was user error.
Right? And I had a warrant for my arrest.
You want to talk about that?
No, I've got a criminal record for cannabis.
That shouldn't be a criminal record, though.
I got caught and had a great lawyer. I never did any more than 90 days weekends at Mimico.
Mimico, though.
Mimico, yeah.
What a shithole,
yeah,
eh?
The Mimicombo.
Oh, what a shithole.
So, but we were always in the trailers. We were never in general population.
Right, because you were there for weekends.
Yeah, we were
Right.
wearing our clothes.
Right.
We were getting fucking high in the fucking dormitories all fucking weekend. Right?
This guy's like, it was country club.
But we'd make a pipe out of toilet paper rolls.
You got an education back then when you went to jail for
Cigarette-
weekends.
Cigarette tinfoil and toothpaste.
Did you bring stuff into jail? So
Yes.
yes, of course, because then you get paid when you're in there.
No, you just smoke it on the weekend. So
You didn't.
No, so like on your shoes when you do your laces,
Yeah.
I would put hash in there because when they checked your shoes, they just went like this.
Yeah, and just make sure
they never unlaced it to see if there's anything on the tongue.
Right.
Right, and then also in the wintertime, on my winter jacket, I put a little hole in the
Yeah, so you could put it in
there. They never checked that. They would just check your pockets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you carried it. And then the guards, they didn't care.
You could also smoke in the prisons back then, so smoking hash would be really easy. You just smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, the guards didn't care as long as they weren't smoking when they saw you. We would let them know they were coming. They would smell it. They didn't care. You're only there for the weekend. You're being happy. You're not causing fights.
Yeah, you're just there to do your time and leave.
They walked away.
You know how much Mike's going to think he sucks when he realizes how dope this conversation's been?
I can go back and do it again.
Right?
I would definitely come back.
Do you ever ride the trains?
Yeah. Oh, I've done the whole thing, man. I've done bus, Greyhound, plane, and train.
No. I mean like hobo style, jump the trains.
No, I did the Trans-Canada train from Vancouver to Toronto.
Just because we know a couple people, and I know a couple people personally that used to hitchhike a lot, and then they just took to taking the trains instead.
Yeah, I don't know where a train's going.
Me neither. That's the hardest part for me.
I can't ask the conductor, hey, can you let me off here?
Yeah, and you know what the answer was I got for that? Is they're like, the same thing you said about your sign. You start to just know which direction the trains are going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you just start to know which ones are going east and which ones are going west.
Do you want to know the person that picked me up that is still my friend?
You have someone that picked you up?
When I was 16 years old.
Okay, 16 years old.
Still my friend today.
And so we're talking 40 years ago. You're how old again?
58.
58, okay.
42 years.
42 years ago. And this person picked you up where?
Hitchhiking.
Where? Okay, they picked you up, but where?
Ontario,
in Ontario somewhere.
Yeah,
okay.
And there was the days of the blue meanies and black beauty, wake up pills. So we would order from the back of the magazine.
Yeah.
But Ray Guillenette from Scriber, Ontario, right, was the only Bell Canada man for there, and he had a fish pump and had it hooked up, and we were smoking hash and would blow out the smoke with him. So, but Ray and I are still friends to this day.
Wait, what? Wait, go back.
Yeah.
What the fuck was he using the fish pump to smoke hash?
Well, yeah. So how the fish pump would make bubbles in the water, right? It would be blowing air. Well, he rigged it so that it would blow out hash smoke.
And then, but how would you? And you just okay?
Me and my friend Larry Nash.
What the fuck? He
took us to Scriber, Ontario, and we were thinking we should get some T-shirts that say "Where the fuck is Scriber, Ontario?"
What the? Yeah. There's no way that anyone can dispute stoner ingenuity when you're telling me that somebody figured out how to take an air pump for a fish tank and smoke hash out of it.
Yep.
What kind of MacGyver shit are you? That's in 1980 fucking 2?
Well, when they say that stoners can smoke out of anything, and if we don't have something,
Holy
we can
fuck.
make it.
Is there anybody out there that has a weirder thing they've smoked out of than an aquarium fish pump? Holy shit.
There's probably some. How about the chillum? You remember chillums?
Yeah, that's not weirder than a fish pump.
You would smoke it this way, right?
Do you want to eat some snacks?
Sure, I love snacks.
Okay, you know what? We should do that because it is the Snacks of Life. We've been having a great conversation. We're here with Glenn Wells of Cannamatch.ca.
Yeah.
What do you want to get into? So I've got. We have some weird energy drink from Asia called an M150.
I'll try that when I need some energy.
Okay. We've got the brand new Mountain Dew Summer Freeze.
I'll try that.
Okay. We've got Kit Kat cheesecakes.
Sure.
We've got some Snyder's of Berlin limited edition garlic parmesan chips. Mm-hmm. And we have some Great Canadian meat sticks. Where do you want to start?
I'm going to go with the Great Canadian meat sticks, followed by some Kit Kat, and I'm going to wash it down with the Mountain Dew.
So Great Canadian Meat, shout out Great Canadian Meat, sponsor of the show. We've got, you can have first because you're the guest.
All right.
We've got a beef stick pepperoni.
Yeah.
We've got a mild salami, and we have a teriyaki.
I'm going to go with the beef stick pepperoni.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to go off the map because I haven't tried it. I'm going to go with the teriyaki.
Okay. Now you got scissors? Oh, no, we just...
Yeah, I think it should just like this. Mike Rita has a lot of problems opening packages.
Does he?
Yeah, that's a big throwback for people that watched episode 1. He couldn't open a bag of chips.
Well, sometimes...
Go like this. See, like this?
Remember, I've got 8 out of 10 fingers.
Okay.
That's actually my nickname. I'm known as 8.
Oh, because you got. Well, how'd you do that?
8 out of 10 Glen was given to me by Al, the alchemist from Pot TV, and
So how did you cut your fingers? So I actually
not cut. I lost them saving my daughter from a bear.
Whoa! A bear took your fingers?
No, a bear banger.
Oh, the boom.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So what happened was December, where we used to live. We lived in a carport, and our door was in the carport. And all over Mission, British Columbia, they have signs that say, "You live in bear country.
Yep.
Be aware." Right?
Yeah.
So we would have bears and come in there, right? Mm-hmm. So she opened up the door. The bear was there. I grabbed her by the scuff of her shirt, pulled her back. Went into my bedroom, into the safe, grabbed a bear banger, lit it. You have 8 seconds to open the door, throw it out, and scare the bear away.
Yeah.
Okay? Well,
So
what
a bear banger is basically a fucking grenade.
It's a quarter stick of dynamite.
Right.
Okay? So when I slammed the door, I slammed it so hard that the little lock on the knob switched. So now I had this bear banger, it's lit, and I can't open the door, which I know that the door will open because we just found the bear, right? And I looked down and I saw that it was fucking locked. That it locked by itself. This thing is burning.
Yeah.
My daughter's right behind me.
Right.
Right? So as I threw it away, it blew up and I was standing as much this close it's to this mic.
Right.
And the blowback blew off this much of my thumb and that much of my finger.
Yeah.
So that's what I lost. And then Al, the alchemist, said, "You will be known as 8 out of 10 Glen." And I also received Parent of the Year award for it, for what I did.
Bro, you fought off a bear.
I scared a bear away. But also, let's even more context to that. 1 year before this, I had a neighbor who was being attacked by a bear, and I saved her life. And with those same bear bangers, and was all over the news. I was on Global News, CTV News, with the same bear bangers, showing them what I did. She had a dog, and the dog was barking, and the lady opened up the door, and the bear swiped at her, and she had one of those thick wool house coats on.
Yeah.
Shredded it.
Whoa.
When I let go of the bear banger, the bear took off.
Right.
And she was something.
Because the bear associates a bang with getting fucked up.
Yeah, and sometimes they don't always move on the first time. Sometimes I've had to do it twice.
Yeah, because they know some people shoot it in the air first before they shoot at them.
Yeah.
But they know that bang means they could be dying.
There's a news video where it says they show what I had. They show what it sounds like as I throw it, and I said the bear stayed there the first time, and then the second time the bear took off up the tree. Right, but
the bear didn't even it goes up the tree. It's like, I'll be back, motherfuckers.
Or just leave me alone for a few hours and I'll go away and you go away. Right? So, so that's how it's like. Yeah.
How's your meat stick, man?
I was telling a story.
I know. Because I'm going to tell you about this meat stick. This teriyaki one is fire, man. It's so good. Mm-hmm. Great can of meat. I don't know if they have a lot of presence out on the West Coast, but they're pretty big out in the East Coast, and they're in Circle K, so I'm pretty sure they might be in Circle K in the West Coast. Great Canadian meat. They always got bangers. They do shit well.
Tastes great.
There was something else that I saw that you did some ancestry. Mm-hmm. So you did like Ancestry DNA or 123Me or one of those websites.
Ancestry.
And you're one of the people where you did it and found somebody that you were like had like it magically happened, where like the story on the commercials and shit, right?
Okay, so I did my Ancestry, and they have this tree thing on there, and my mom was able to find her long lost brother because my DNA was on there.
Whoa.
Yes, she had not seen this boy since he was, I think she said 16 years old.
Wow.
Uncle Harry. And so his family reached out to me and asked me certain questions about my family. I said, yeah, that's all, match.
Yeah.
We have her long-lost brother here. So I hung up from them, called my mom, and asked her if she knew about somebody.
With this name, yeah.
Yeah, or with these details, without a name first, right? Yeah, I have, and they used to tell me that he was my cousin. But, yeah.
Wow.
Brothers.
So it wasn't, so
Just last year, they were reunited through my DNA.
That's probably what it came up.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't, and this is the magic of the internet and the world that we live in now, because there was a point where, you know, not to make light of this because this isn't, but like you could move to another town in the same fucking like 45 minutes that way, and nobody would ever know because the internet didn't exist. There was no fucking Facebook. You could disappear and literally be right in plain sight, fucking a half an hour from where you lived.
Yeah.
And it's not that your mom went on a website. It's not that her brother went on a website. It's that you went on a website, and somebody in the next generation, 2 people went on a website probably thinking that it would affect their life and finding someone maybe that meant something to you, or that you would put a plant down for the future generation, whatever your intention was.
Yeah.
But it ended up connecting something that was really meaningful to your mother.
Yeah, and I would have never known that I could give my mom that as a birthday gift, because today is my mom's birthday. It was my grandmother's birthday too. My grandmother would have been 98 today.
Wow.
My mom just turned 78 today.
Wow.
Yeah, we're all 20 years apart. I'm 58.
Today's your mom's birthday.
Today is my mom's 78th birthday, yes.
Wow.
And I didn't want to date it. I heard you say let's not date it, right? But yeah, today is my mom's birthday, and we're always here for her. And then last year I was able to give her lost brother. True. No, I didn't plan this or anything like that.
Fucking top that birthday gift, bro. You're fucked for the rest of your life. You're never going to be able to give her a better gift than her lost brother.
Yeah.
What do you do on Mother's Day after that?
Well, Mother's Day and my mom's birthday are always within the same few days.
So you've been 2 for 1ing it for a lot of years,
Pretty much, yeah.
That's a win, though.
Yeah, because I'm traveling over 5,000 miles or 5,000 kilometers.
Yeah, that's a gift in itself.
Yes, and I bring my daughter with me, and she gets to see Grandma.
That's super dope.
Right? So, yeah, so there's 2 gifts. One
dope.
me and one her, right? And I still bought her, like today, I bought her some new shoes that she needed for her birthday gift.
That's
and
sick.
Stuff like that, right? So, yeah.
All right, you want to try this pot?
Yeah.
My mouth
Let's do that.
My mouth is on fire, and it was teriyaki.
Oh, summer
I cut my
freeze.
finger in a table saw.
Oh, did you? Oh.
Not too much is gone. Not as much as you.
I did a hot knife on my lip, and it stuck there, and it's not no scar because I use vitamin E oil.
If you know you're an OG if you burn your lip on a hot knife.
We did the propane torch and the knives, and then when we would smoke it this way, and it slipped, and I had to pull it off. Ooh. That happened on Pape Avenue in Toronto, living above some Greek family. There were strange things that you remember, eh?
So how many years have you lived in British Columbia now? It's like consecutively?
Over 30.
Over 30.
Yeah, all in Mission.
All in Mission. And
Yeah.
where exactly, for the people that are geographically dumb like me, where is Mission in
Close to
relation?
Abbotsford, where we had the Great Flood. Remember?
So it's in the lower lands.
We're in the lower Fraser Valley. We are full of strawberries and blueberries and chickens and cows and corn and Chilliwack sweet corn and all
How far is it to Vancouver, though? It's not
1
far.
hour.
Fuck, yeah.
1 hour. Yeah, I traveled to do the show from Mission to Vancouver every Tuesday.
So when they say Swoop flies into Abbotsford,
Yep.
it's not as dog shit as I think it is.
Mike loved it. Ask Mike if he loved the Abbotsford Airport. He walked straight out. He could see me. He could see my car on the road. There was no going up escalators or big, huge buildings. You come off and walk in the from the tarmac right to your baggage, and your friends are waiting right outside on the other glass.
The entire time I've thought to myself,
Dubage in hand and too. So, yeah.
I've always put it like, man, I don't want to fly, first of all, out of Hamilton, but I don't want to fly to like not where I'm going, and I'm always going to Vancouver.
But it's also less airport fees. Vancouver and Toronto all have airport fees.
Yeah, they really suck.
You fly into Abbotsford and Hamilton, no airport fees, or less ones because it's not such a big place. But WestJet lands there, Air Canada lands there. They're now expanding into international flights. Abbotsford. Yes. Yeah, so we're going to have some international
Mexico.
stuff coming in there. Yep. Because it's growing, right?
I should mention, because this is the No Cap podcast, that my previous beef with Lynx Air still stands.
My beef is now with Swoop.
You're going to have beef with this Swoop with the fucking strike.
If it happens tomorrow and we're supposed to be flying back on Monday, I might be paying $700 for a return. I mean, a one-way ticket.
You have rights.
Yes.
So that's where I was going with this. So Lynx has sent me a refund for $125.
Yeah.
I did receive it. They still owe me for the double charge on my credit card, though.
Oh, yes.
So I still have beef with Lynx there. But Swoop flying into Abbotsford, you've changed my mind on that. Let's get into this Mountain Dew. What do you think? Give the people a review.
I love it. Oh, man. It's got, I don't know, that taste. I'm going to say, like, remember that stringy licorice? Yeah, it was like really long. It's got that
Like shoestring licorice?
Yes, yeah. It's got that kind of licorice taste to it, but not licorice, but the shoestring with the flavoring or whatever they used to. Yeah, because it wasn't licorice; it was more like a candy, that shoestring stuff, right? But it's very refreshing. It's summer freeze. What is it? With burst of summer. What? Americana. Oh, is that sweet thing that they like the weed and they like their sweet drinks too?
If Mike was here, he would give an epic fucking introduction to this. Mountain Dew Summer Freeze. It's Mountain Dew with a blast of summer Americana. What the fuck does Americana taste like? Are you fucking kidding me, Mountain Dew? Mountain Dew Americana?
Did you dip some American people in this pot in this bottle?
So it looks like it's one of those rocket pop flavors.
Yeah.
You know, the red, the blue, the white rocket pop flavor.
Yeah, and would we almost be the same flavor as I'm discussing the shoestring stuff that we used to have. Yes, I know, eh?
That's not bad, though.
You want to hear strangest stories of hitchhiking?
Oh, dude, yeah, I want to hear as many stories as you want. Do you want to get into some more snacks, though?
Yeah, sure. Let's try the Kit Kat.
Okay.
Now, I'm not a religious person. I'm a humanist. I believe in the power of people, right?
Whoa, is that a real thing? Is that a religion?
Yep,
Humanist.
You can look it up. A humanist is somebody who believes in the power of people. And my way of convincing people that is whenever something happens, tidal waves, earthquakes, bombings, whatever, it's a bunch of people from all over the place who come together and help rebuild. Or help people, right? You don't get the whole bunch of churches saying, here, take some of our money and help to rebuild your city, right? So it's always people who make a difference.
Yeah,
right?
and even if it is the churches, it's always the churches on there asking for money to do it, like the Red Cross.
I've been on
and shit,
side stage at 65,000 people with Yngwie Malmsteen and Triumph. And when Triumph played a certain song, you feel the energy of the people.
Yeah, for sure.
That glow that is around us, when you get 65,000 glows, you feel that.
Oh, I can relate to that, man. The concert, when everybody's on the same vibe at a concert, it's powerful. It's a drug.
That is what convinced me in the power of the people. Mm-hmm. Together, we are strong. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why the government knows that. They want us disenchanted. They want us fighting with each other because we're a lot stronger if we're not.
I mean, there is definitely the divide and conquer is proven to be a very, very, very effective method of taking over. That's true.
So where I was going with this is that the longest time I've ever waited for a ride hitchhiking was 21 hours, and that was in Sault Ste. Marie.
I've been told that's a shithole to get stuck in.
I read the trading post. I was there. I slept on the picnic table overnight, and I was so pissed off. I yelled out, "God, I need a ride." This car immediately put its brakes on, did a U-turn, pulled up alongside of me. 78-year-old woman and an 80-year-old man said, "You need a ride?" And where are you going? I said, "I'm going to British Columbia." "We're going to Calgary." He says, "Can you drive?" I said, "I can drive." He says, "Well, if I get tired, can you drive?" "No problem." He says, "Okay, we're going to try you out. If it works out, we'll give you a ride all the way to Calgary. If not, we'll give you a ride to Winnipeg." Mm-hmm. Right? So I said, "Sure, no problem." I asked him about my medical cannabis. Sure, no problem. Just let us know. We'll roll down the windows. So I got to smoke in the back seat of this guy's car all the way for 3 days into Calgary, just after saying that for 20 minutes. So that made up all the time that I've been waiting in Sault Ste. Marie.
Yeah,
because now
big turnaround.
Yeah, because now from Calgary to Mission's 10 hours straight drive.
Right.
Right. So yeah, and then the second
And
time,
did you drive?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the second time that happened to me is I was in British Columbia, hitchhiking again, and it got big black clouds and heavy rain, lightning.
Yeah.
And I'm crouched down on the ground because I know that my little pointy thing could be a lightning rod.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So I'm like, it's pissing my head. I go, God, I need a ride. And a fucking car pulled over. And I run over to the car. I open the door. It's a priest.
What the fuck?
Took me all the way to Mission. Yeah. So, there you go. Those are the two freaky things that's ever happened to me after saying those exact words.
Okay, so my question then to the humanist Glenn Wells, CEO, founder, genius behind Cannamatch.ca. Do you believe that was indication that there possibly is a God, or is that reaffirmation of your humanism because it was humans who still came to the rescue for you?
Exactly, because it doesn't matter what that human believes in, he still helped you.
Right.
Right? We all have different beliefs, right?
Bro, I'm not sure, though, at this rate, with the way that the churches are going and shit, that I would have got in the car with a priest.
This was in the 90s. This was a little bit different, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have what we know today, right?
Because the priests are pretty fucked up, bro.
He was a great guy, man. Nice.
I bet he was.
Man. He was in his black and with the white collar, and I was like, wow, do you know what I just said? And you pulled over and gave me a ride.
Wow.
Right? And that just helped him, well, yeah, of course, it's a higher power thing, right? I believe in the higher power. Yes, there is something, and it may just be all of us together, that energy.
Well, I mean, that's a fuck of a lot more likely, in my opinion, than some of the shit I hear.
But I also think on the other side of that, as our population grows on this planet, billions and billions, we each have one little energy. So now that energy that we carry around, which maybe be part of what people see during DMT, when they do DMT, and being able to communicate with that energy is now getting bigger too. You know what I'm saying? So what is this energy's purpose? To be here, and we
all of these people on the planet.
Yes, and as the planet grows, so is that energy, because we all have an aura. Now we have over 1 billion auras.
Do you think that the energy's growing, or do you think that we're depleting the energy we have? Is it one of those things where we're getting less energy because there's too many people?
It's growing.
It's growing.
It's growing.
That's a very cup half full approach to it. I like that. That's positive.
It's definitely growing and becoming stronger. And when we got to tune in and be able to use it.
It sounds like a Timothy Leary science.
Yeah, well, I a lot of the stars say if you believe in something and work hard, you can make it happen.
Well, and you know what? To that effect,
I've never been able to know that because of my scoliosis or whatever, but I'm working on doing that.
Well, I've made that point a few times to people that, like, if you want to look at famous actors and famous musicians, and the one key thing between it all is that they were always told no, or they're always told they won't be able to do it, and they just continually went for it anyway. Mm-hmm. You don't become a famous actor by staying in Nebraska. You become a famous actor or actress by moving to Hollywood and waiting tables and doing auditions and grinding it out. And the internet has changed things in a certain sense where, there's certain industries where the barrier to succeed is a lot smaller than it was. Like, for instance, the music industry, back when you're seeing The Who at the Gardens, just to record an album required a huge studio, much like the one we're in here, with thousands and tens of thousands of dollars
and hours
and hours and hours and hours of
months to make an album.
Yeah, and
today you can do it in a few hours
of somebody's time and mix and mastering and all of these things, and now
made it so much better.
And but to the effect of, like, they controlled what we heard because the barrier to make that album and for that album to be played by radio stations so that we heard it was so large. Whereas now you can record something in your basement. You could record it in a studio with laptops
and sing it on YouTube or TikTok.
Yeah. So there's artists who recorded songs that is a 3-minute song that 15 seconds of it is famous because it's a dance or it's a viral sensation.
Yeah.
And we've quantified and to that point it's kind of watered down, I think, in a sense of, you know, to get a platinum record back in the day and to sell, you know, 1 million records is a lot different than getting 1 million streams. And it you know,
streams are just a click of a button. A record, you had to go to the store, maybe stand in line because that record was just coming out and everybody else wanted it too.
Just
right?
the whole process
even
of
concerts,
everything.
Even concerts, we used to line up for days for concerts to get those front row tickets.
To get the tickets, yeah.
And people would come from the States and say, I don't believe how you guys can get together without fighting. And it'd be like thousands of us all lined up, all sharing stuff, telling stories.
Did you ever go to Molson Park?
No. I was all Exhibition Stadium or Maple Leaf Gardens.
Exhibition Stadium.
But then when I started working, I was just working in 3 cities, Montreal, Buffalo, and Toronto.
Right.
So
Buffalo's a beautiful city, eh?
War Memorial Auditorium, 65,000 people, triumphing of announcing. And I was doing merchandising.
Yeah.
So I was working for a guy named Ron Boutwell, and I had to go around and, we counted the shirts when they went out, counted the shirts when he came in, and during the night, all the people who were selling, I would go around and collect the big bills. And I got paid for that, too.
I bet you did.
Yep. And
you get to see a crazy show.
I would drive him around from Toronto to Montreal to Buffalo.
You have a beef on weck when you're down there?
By me?
You have a beef on weck when you were down in Buffalo?
No.
No, Buffalo's got some great food.
Well, maybe nowadays, but that again was a long time ago, right?
We got a few more things that we can get to here. Big Terp called in; he's got an opinion. What else do we got? And then we're gonna announce the winner.
And a shout out to
CSP.
CSP.
You can shout out anybody you would like to shout out.
Well, I do this show for the CSP, right?
Okay.
The Cannabis Substitution Program.
Yep.
So Neil Magnuson provides high dose edibles to the people of the downtown East Side in Vancouver,
Hastings Street and stuff,
in order to prevent opioid overdoses.
So cannabis edibles prevents them from overdosing?
High dose.
High dose.
What is happening is we found out after 4 years that we can get rid of the withdrawal symptoms with high dose edibles.
So somebody that's coming off of
the whole
opioids.
thing is that they don't want to come out because of the pain, the body pain.
Yeah.
So we found out that with a high dose edible,
how high
they sleep whatever they need.
Right.
Everybody's different.
Right.
You could have a person that be 20 milligrams. And just knocks them right out.
Right.
But what we found is after 8 hours of sleep, they wake up hungry.
Right.
They eat.
Right.
Then they do another dose edible and sleep some more.
Yep.
If you can make it 1 week, and lots of people do because you don't have the sweats, you don't have
you don't have the withdrawal symptoms,
and the cannabis in the endocannabinoid system
protects you,
healing you.
Yeah.
Right, and you're not having these things in there, so they're finding out it's a lot easier. So my son actually works in the van where they dispense this stuff, and it's changed his life because people come to the window and say, "You've changed my life."
Yeah.
I'm a productive person in society now, all because of cannabis.
Right, and then eventually...
And the whole funny thing is that the government doesn't want to give him an exemption because they want him to have a prescription for each person that they give a 10 milligram or over 10 milligram edible to.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
You can carry 2.5 grams of cocaine, speed, heroin around with you and have no problems.
Yeah, so they've legalized that new thing in Vancouver. We should touch on that.
Yeah, because
they're going to start selling cocaine.
He did, and he got arrested.
Oh, he did get arrested.
His name's Jerry Martin. Yes. I know Jerry.
So, and I thought there was a story out that said that they were allowing him to do it.
No, he asked to be arrested, and the next day they arrested his ass. Yes.
So, but I thought there was a story out that they were going to let somebody sell small amounts of cocaine. He was allowed to have 200 grams on the present, and no.
No. But Jerry wanted to do that. He wanted to provide clean medicine for people, right? It's not loaded with fentanyl. And and he wants it as a constitutional challenge. So he stepped out. He did that. He got arrested. Now he can do his challenge.
Right, because that's what it takes. That's the fucked up system, man.
That's the whole thing is that, we don't want to be on pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
Why do we have to have a clean supply when we don't even need to do this?
Yeah.
Doctors got people on these things because they got injured or they had pain, and now they can't get off it.
Well,
now,
I can talk to that because, and I don't know how far back you went on the podcast, but my cousin overdosed 2.5 months ago, and he had curvature of the spine, got surgery, had a...
I never did the surgery.
He got surgery, and when he was like 17, 18 years old, got a hole in his back, right? And they put him, and this is in the era of the early 2000s, somewhere in that general vicinity, late 90s, and they put him on opioid drugs, and he ended up with a very serious opioid addiction.
Yep.
And he didn't ask, it was doctors that
did this.
That started it.
Yeah. And so
they're the same people that you're talking about weed is a gateway drug are giving out pills to people.
I know.
And the epidemic that we have right now.
And why does the government say that weed is not good for you, but yet you have to have a prescription for it?
Yeah.
Medicines are supposed to be good for you. You need prescriptions for medicines, right?
Yeah.
So why do you need it? It's very controversial. It is. And this man has been doing this for 5 years now. He started at the VANDU, which is the Vancouver area network of drug users.
Right.
And used to have 300 people line up 3 times a week, and he would give them high-dose edibles and stuff like that. Now he had a store, and then they came and busted him, and they busted his RV. The store had to be shut down after he had Vancouver City's permission from council, but the
province.
No, the city manager or the guy who gives out the business license said you had to have provincial permission, which is not possible. You have to go to federal.
Right.
And so that's what he's been waiting for Health Canada. So he's been giving.
I'm really interested what they think how like high dose, because like
anything over 10 milligrams, somebody has to have a prescription for. If we were to give it to them, that's what they say. Anything,
10 milligrams is not a lot,
especially the people who are doing opioids.
Yeah, especially the people that are getting really fucking high.
Yeah, they're doing a lot harder drug than cannabis. But we have to have they have to have, and these people don't go to doctors.
And it's weird
these people they can't get a doctor. We already know that right across Canada, it's hard to get a doctor. There's 1 million people in British Columbia that don't have a doctor.
Well, and the fact is that Neil actually cares about these people, and doctors don't.
You can't stop because now you've heard the stories.
Yeah,
you've seen the changes.
Yeah, you know what's up.
You stop saving people's lives.
Yeah,
you can't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah,
I do something every Christmas time. We do Dupes and Tubes.
Yeah,
which is take off from Sterling because he does it in Saskatoon also.
Yeah,
and so we Cabela's gives us a special price on really warm socks,
right?
And we give away Dubes and Tubes,
right
at Christmas time.
So socks is one of the hardest things for
pair of socks at Christmas time in a nice joint.
Yeah, people on the street, socks is one of the number one things that they're after.
And so we do a GoFundMe, and people contribute to that. And
man, you're doing amazing things with cannabis for
Tim
people.
Tim Hortons puts in for coffee and hot chocolate.
I've had beef with Tim Hortons, man, and that's good that Tim Hortons is helping you out. That makes me proud because Tim Hortons has got lots of money. Every time that I'm in a drive-through and they're like, "Hey, do you want to donate to this?" Or like you're at the grocery store and they're like, "Hey, you want to give $2?" I did McHappy Day.
Yeah,
I mean it was $75 for me, the whole family for McHappy Day, and then my sister, you want to do $2 for Ronald McDonald House, and I'm like, you motherfuckers, you know how much money you have? You could build 10 fucking McDonald's houses.
You know why they do that?
Because they get a write-off, I assume.
No, it could be that too. But in Canada, there is a law for the charities.
Right.
Because now I know this because I used to deliver the payroll for the World Wildlife Federation on Spadina Avenue long time ago.
The WWF, the real WWF.
With the panda bear.
Not you,
so I would
Vince
go to the Bank
McMahon.
of Montreal and pick up their payroll. You know what their payroll was drawn on? Interest checks. Did you know that in Canada, you can collect money for your charity, but you have 365 days in order to give that money to that charity or to that person or whatever. So now every time you chip in $2,
Right.
that $2 is making interest for 364 days.
Before they have to do anything with it.
Exactly.
Wow.
So the best way to make money is to have a good charity.
Right.
Because you have other people money in the bank that is making interest. That's how you pay for your office space and your staff and stuff like that off the interest.
Mind blown.
Yeah. And
So-
I would deliver Bank of Montreal interest checks for their payroll. Drawn on interest checks. I would see it.
Right. And that's how they pay all their people. Is off of the donation interest money.
Yeah. So you when you hear a charity and a reputable charity saying that all the money goes there,
Yeah.
it does.
Wow.
But it doesn't say anything about the interest.
That must be like your phone or something.
I don't know, maybe.
Because it was the same ding 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 I thought it was dinging. Okay, we got a couple calls to get to here. We're
Sure.
going to talk about, we were going to give away the prize and we're going to call the winner, but maybe we'll wait until Mike's here.
What's the prize?
Well, it was a prize from Second Shot, but I think maybe Mike should be here when we do it. So
Okay,
we're going to go to Terp.
We do have a contest with Cannamatch.
We're going to do that too. Let's do Terp's. Let's do Terp's call. And we're getting close to that 2-hour mark. We'll do Terp's call. We'll talk about the new contest we're going to run with Cannamatch.
Yep.
And then we'll do the theme song. We'll get the fuck out of here. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay, so we got to talk about this here. We got Big Terp calling in.
Yo, it's Big Terp. Yo, I'm just rolling up a fucking shitload of joints for tomorrow because it's my birthday. Fuck yeah.
Happy birthday, Terp.
But
Happy birthday.
on another note, how come at movie theaters snacks just taste better? Like, I don't know what it is about the snacks that I smuggle into the movie theater, but like, those gummies be hitting. I don't know.
It's because you snuck them in there.
It's illegal snacks,
Yeah,
right?
it is. Yeah.
Illicit snacks.
That's what it is, Terps, man. It's because you snuck them in there.
Yeah.
You got away with it, man.
Yeah.
It tastes better when you do that.
On this note, the best place to see a movie for me is always a drive-in. Do they have drive-ins in British Columbia?
We do. We have one left. The Twilight Drive-In in Langley.
There is, from what I read, there's less than 40 drive-ins in Canada now.
And you know how they do the music? Through your radio now. You don't have that little speaker that sits on the window. It's all on FM and there. And so if you got surround sound in your car, you got good sound. Right?
Yeah, that's how they do it here.
And they do 3 shows for the one price.
Here we have a triple drive-in.
Yeah.
So there's 3 screens,
Yeah.
and there's 6 movies,
Wow.
right? So you
Yeah.
get 2 movies. You're not supposed to switch, but we all switch. But the best part about the drive-in, first of all, as a cannabis user, that you can go and watch a movie and you can just smoke in your car,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So perfect.
Yeah.
You can just sit there, you can blaze in your car, and you can bring in your own snacks. Now, the
And
one thing I will say
Bring
is
your favorite lady, too.
yeah, that's true, and you could meet her on Cannamatch.ca. Are you into movies? Do you like to smoke weed? How about snacks? Let's go and find our match on Cannamatch.ca. It's true though that like you can basically take in all of your own snacks, but everybody knows that no matter how much you want to, you cannot replicate movie theater popcorn. That's the one thing you have to buy when you go to the movies.
Yeah.
You can't be like chips. You can't be smuggling. Chips are not hitting during a movie. Let's be realistic.
Crunch.
No, you can't eat chips during a movie.
No.
If I showed up at a movie theater and I saw someone with a big bag of chips at a movie theater,
Ruffles.
right?
Yeah.
You psychotic. I'd immediately leave the theater if I saw someone show up with a bag of chips at the movie theater.
I'll have to drink.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Yep.
What do you think about the Liquid Death?
I love I finished that one too.
Oh, well, you can crack another if you want.
Oh, okay.
man, there's
You
lots
said
of it.
something about birthday.
Terp's birthday, yeah.
I have a tattoo here.
Oh, Marvin the Martian.
Nope. You got it wrong. Try again. Martin, he doesn't have a black helmet. Marvin has
That's oh, dude, that's the kazoo.
the great kazoo.
Yeah.
He's passing me a joint.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Okay, so I got this for free.
Really?
Yes. So in British Columbia, we had Chaz in Dallas. They owned a tattoo studio. And we were sitting around, and my friend was getting a tattoo, and he says to me, he says, "Hey, have you got a tattoo?" "No." "What would you, if you got one, what would it be?" I said, "The Great Kazoo." He says, why? I said, because I used to watch Fred Flintstone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He said, I would have it here. He says, well, I tell you what. He says, I'll do it for $200, and you talk about me on the THC show with Neil Magnuson.
Yeah.
No problem, I said. Great, right? So I make a date. His mom called while I was there, and it was her birthday.
Right.
And I sang her happy birthday. She cried.
Oh.
She said that it was the most wonderful thing that somebody had ever done for her. He got off the phone. He said, that's now a free tattoo.
What?
And he put the whole story on Instagram.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when did you get, like, how long ago was this?
Probably 3 years now.
So you went,
This June.
you went your entire life, no tattoos.
Yeah.
Rebel.
Yeah.
Hitchhiking, hippie, weed smoking degenerate. You went that whole
no tattoos.
no tattoos.
No tattoos. And then at 56, I think it was 56. Yeah, 56. So 2 years.
And you got a tattoo.
I got a tattoo.
Why didn't you get tattoos up into there? Was it
Well, because I was a criminal, and tattoos where you mark you for who you are.
right? But you were only a criminal for cannabis, though.
It doesn't matter.
That sucks.
Right? I didn't want to always be that person. If I had a way of getting out, I could. No, but when you're on a criminal record, they always ask you if you have any tattoos, and that's how they can identify you.
Right.
It's my tattoos, right? So
Right.
if I ever wanted to change my name, I wouldn't be able to do it with a tattoo now.
This guy's gone so deep. He's like, tattoos mark you. You're branded for life.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm a fucking criminal. Man, you're just. And the messed up part is that you're just a weed person.
Yep.
That was it.
Well, hash and acid too.
Fuck whatever, bro.
Yeah. But
you're not hurting nobody.
You were a criminal, right?
That's insane, right?
Yeah.
That's fuck. You know, people have fucking face tats now.
The most acid I've seen somebody do, he bought 25 purple microdots off me and ate them all at once, and I never saw him again.
Like, yeah, he disappeared into the fucking sunset.
And he also taught me to do vitamin C.
Yeah. Vitamin C, living on reds, vitamin C, and cocaine. That's great for that thing.
Because
absorbing.
Your body burns vitamin C when you're on acid, and if you replace it by taking a spoonful of 1,000 milligrams, you have a better trip.
Yeah. The vitamin C is essential. You know what? Vitamin C is also very good for like anything. It's absorbing the vitamin. So if you're like drinking a lot, people are like, "Oh, I drink a large glass of water." If you've been drinking and if you can manage to drink a large glass of orange juice before you go to bed, it will help your body over the time. It'll absorb and it'll help your body. Vitamin C is very key for doing drug use for sure. Yeah, I know a lot about that.
He taught me that, but I never saw that guy again.
Like,
so 5 for you would get 5 hits for $20. So he gave me $100 to 25 hits and ate them all in front of me.
In where are we in Vancouver?
Toronto.
In Toronto.
Oh, it never sold acid or hash in Toronto and Vancouver. Oh, it's at Young and Caldwell.
Right.
Young and Grove.
So when you say you never saw him again, he just disappeared into the night, and like he was someone you saw regularly, and
you would usually see regular people who would come back to you because they liked your acid.
Right.
I never saw him again. It was the most acid I've ever seen anybody ever take.
Right.
I don't know if he just freaked out or what. I've seen some pretty mean stuff. Like I've seen somebody just by the Mr. Sub there, just up from college. A guy was walking down the street and he looked at somebody in the wrong way, and this person took a monkey wrench to his skull, and I heard his skull crack.
Whoa.
Yeah, his friends picked him up off the ground, put an arm around each person, and carried him away. And never saw that guy again either.
Wow.
And just because he looked at him the wrong way, because I knew the person who did that.
Whoa. Yeah. The guy that did that was a weirdo.
He was a Frenchman from Montreal. I don't know, but...
was he fucked up on something? Like, was he high on drugs, or was he just a mean person?
He wasn't really a mean person that I knew of.
Well, it wasn't mean to you.
No.
Was the guy he smoked like a homeless guy or something?
No. He was staying in the Carlton Inn and stuff like that. He had money and everything. He just looked at them the wrong way, and he did that. Impulse. The other thing I seen was at Pape Station. There was a gentleman who was drunk. It was about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and he didn't want to get sick on the platform. Yeah. So what he did was he tried to get sick on the tracks.
Yeah.
But he stood at that end.
He got smoked by the train.
Decapitated. Saw red blood all over Pape Station, which is green.
How old were you when you saw that shit?
I was in my 20s.
Bro, shit.
Seeing the guy get decapitated right there. This old lady down on the platform just went like
No shit, bro. I would have probably puked.
I was in shock.
I bet.
That train didn't get back until 2 o'clock in the morning after we did that.
Bro, that's fucking shit that you never forget, bro. That's fucking so trauma.
I've talked to subway drivers. The hardest part about something like that, or a jumper,
Driver blames himself.
no, is having to back over him to get the body.
Oh,
That's the hardest part for a subway driver.
Right.
If somebody's jumped in front of his train,
Right.
his train is now rolled over that body. Now he has to back it up.
Yeah.
That's why, because I've talked to them many times as I was being a courier. We were using Metro Pass, and we talked to the guys who had the doors open and stuff. And he said, "Yeah, that was always the hardest thing, is to have to do it again."
You know, that's one of those things where, like, we haven't really addressed the mental illness in this country, but, like, if you're going to do something crazy, now that's like somebody that was obviously intoxicated, was trying to puke. They didn't intentionally kill themselves. But,
No.
You know, there's people that,
But
like,
they're just
step
trying to
in
be
front
a
of.
good person,
Yeah.
and then he dies.
Yeah. Like, there's people that, you know, step in front of transports or jump off of bridges into cars or jump in front of trains and stuff. And, like, you are seriously fucking somebody's life up.
Yep.
When you do that. Like, no matter the regard you have for your own life, subjectively, whatever, you know what I mean? It's seriously putting a mental burden on a lot of people.
But when you're in that person who's jumping in that mental space,
That's not what you care. Yeah. And I've been there. I've been there.
I've been there too. I tried to do it when I was very young, and promised never to do it again. My family doctor gave me shit, and he's still my family doctor to this day.
He sounds like a good guy.
He stood at the end of my bed, and he was fresh from South Africa and into Canada. And he stood at my. He told me, "What the fuck do you think you're trying to do? You're only this age old." And because he cared, he is still my doctor today.
The funny part about that is that doctors are so hard to come by that care.
Yeah.
And when my doctor cut me off as a patient when we found out there was something wrong with me, it was the doctor that birthed me.
Yeah.
That took me back as a patient.
Wow. Yeah. And you get those good doctors, you know.
Yeah, he actually was like
the good psychiatrist. I've got the good family doctor, right? So,
and that's so important because that's really hard. And it's actually that doctor that first see, because I never got my medical marijuana card when it was easy and people were like, "Oh yeah, you can just get it, man. You can just get it." I waited until I had my diagnosis, which took a long time. I waited, and then I justified my cannabis use to all the doctors in my life. And it was that original doctor that birthed me, who had never signed a weed script in his life. Was very against it.
So is mine.
But saw the flip side of the medications that I should be on for the pain that I'm in, and was the one that was like, "Hey man, do your thing."
I personally changed this South African's doctor's opinion on cannabis. He now asks me when I do videos to say, make sure that you eat well when you're doing cannabis and stuff like that. He's totally on board because he's seen how much it's helped me. Right? He was like fresh from South Africa to do drugs were drugs. He's not signing this paper, but eventually he sent me to somebody who did, who is my pain specialist now.
Right.
But he finally seen the good. And now his whole office prescribes cannabis. Right.
Oh. Dad, where are you? It's right there. It's on the counter.
What?
Right there in front of you.
Oh, that is my son. But we can't talk to him while we're live.
That's amazing. And you know what? I think that the good thing about it is that now that the gift and the curse of cannabis, Glenn, is that 20 years ago, there wasn't the research money involved, so we couldn't we knew what we knew, but there wasn't research money involved. The curse of this is that by bringing money into the atmosphere of cannabis in the way that they have, it's kind of the scene is corporate now, and there's bad parts of that, but the good is the research that's happening, the money that's being poured in, the education that's being put into cannabis now, whereas before, you know, you're talking about you're a criminal. You weren't a criminal, dude. You were just, you know, like,
I was just trying to help people out. Yes.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Even if you were only trying to help yourself out. And now with the flip on it, you know, unfortunately, because there's profit to be made, that allows people to put more money into the research, into making a better quality product. Hopefully, legal weed, get your shit together.
maybe it's not right now, maybe it's not this year, maybe it's not next year, but in 5 years, in 10 years down the road, with the money and the research and the infrastructure and all of these things, and the high dose edibles you're talking about, the fact that you can prove it now, and you have the ability to do that research and to document it, and all of the technology we have to make those assertions is only going to make things better in the future.
I'm going to disagree with you, because you can't beat pharmaceutical companies. If there's no money in it for them, they're gonna squash us.
Well,
that's what we're running up to against right now.
100%.
Right?
But
Because
at the end of the day,
there's no money in it for them. Even CBD is going down the drain right now in price, because you can just grow CBD for yourself and make it and be healthy.
Yeah, but at the same time is that there's a percentage of the market that will never grow their own weed.
Yes.
There's a percentage of the market, and without the ability of those big companies to do the other end of the spectrum, because us as we weren't scientists.
No.
You knew the benefits, but we're not scientists, and we can't afford scientists.
No.
And they can. Now, is their product shit? Yeah, their product shit. But there is a portion of the population that are going to be able to be helped by, if they can get their shit together with the product and such. But it's still the fact that it's legal, and the fact that there's a marketplace allows this type of thing to exist. Because you're right in the sense that, like, with any addiction, it's a mental behavior. It's a behavioral thing. And sometimes by addressing the root of why that behavior occurs, along with behavioral replacement, which is why substitution is in the name.
Yeah.
It's not removal. It's substituting
Yeah.
with something that's far less harmful.
And better for you.
Better for you. Will give you a better quality of life. Like you say, people wake up from 8 hours of sleep and they're hungry.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Which they don't usually do. And they eat, and then they go and do another edible, and they go back to sleep. And a week later, they don't have any more sweats or body pains, and they're totally off their opioids.
Right. And
all it did was with some cannabis and your endocannabinoid system, which is in your body looking for cannabis.
Right.
Right. We even tell breastfeeding moms who are afraid that if they smoke while they're breastfeeding, that it's going to go to the baby.
Yeah.
A lot of moms don't know that their breast milk already contains cannabinoids.
For a reason.
Yes.
Yes, because it helps.
Because you have a thing in your body called the endocannabinoid system, who is in charge of pain and your immunity.
Right.
Right? Your immune system, not your immunity, but your immune system.
Right.
Right. So, yeah, and that's what it does. It helps you get off the body sweats and the pains.
That's got to be why, because my conditions are all autoimmune issues, and that's I think that why
Michelle has that.
Why it's helped me with a lot of the things that I've had issues with as far as medical goes. It's a slippery slope.
It's good for us.
I'm saying that
the government lied to you.
Oh, the government lied. 100%. I'm saying the medical big pharma, all of them being involved is a very slippery slope. You got to know your enemy.
We can make this planet even better right now if the government would let us grow hemp.
Yeah.
Hemp takes in 5 times the amount of carbon dioxide than a tree does, and you can grow it 3 or 4 times a year.
Right.
So we could actually save some of the environment of the cannabis just by letting people grow hemp again.
You sound like Jack Hare.
Well, I don't know. I just was taught about that. A tree takes 25 years or whatever, and it takes in a certain amount, and it takes a long time. And you can grow hemp 3 or 4 times.
And hemp has industrial uses. They
put it in Chernobyl, and it reclaimed the land, also the soil, so that they can grow again and stuff like that. There's amazing things. We can make oils, bricks, cars, rope, clothing. Yeah, the most expensive rope in the world is a hemp rope.
Yeah.
Right? I believe that maybe we should let the indigenous people grow hemp again, because in the 1800s with the trading posts and stuff like that, they used to make blankets and stuff like that. They know how to make clothes and stuff like that. Yeah. Let them do that again. Let them grow some hemp. Let them make some ropes.
Unfortunately, what it's going to happen is there's going to be like Christian Dior fucking hemp loafers and shit like that, and they'll be super expensive because unfortunately...
Hemp is expensive, and you know why? Yeah. Because you have to get it made. If you want something done with it, it has to go to the States or to China. Canada doesn't have any places to process hemp.
That's something we're slacking on.
That's the problem.
Is it because they outlawed it?
That's why it's so expensive. Like Michelle makes hemp clothes and stuff like that, and
That has to do with like I'm pretty sure that if you go down the rabbit hole, that has to do with like DuPont and cotton,
Yeah.
and monopolies through corporations on patents.
when they
and
can
shit,
give
right?
you something that's going to rip in a few years, and then you have to buy a new one.
The planned obsolescence.
Compared to where hemp will last, hemp pair of pants could last you 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
So who's going to, they're not going to make money off you anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
That's an old time philosophy. The same with the cars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like the planned obsolescence of everything. Our phones are only good for so many years until they're slow. And especially technology's
operating
fast.
hours.
Yeah.
I turn my phone off every night.
Really?
Because I know about those operating hours. Yes.
What are you talking about operating hours?
Well, TVs and electronics, they're all set up to work for a certain amount of hours. So if you leave your TV on all night while you're sleeping, you're kind of wasting those
Oh,
hours.
okay. I see what you're saying.
Right? Those microchips and stuff are only good for a certain amount of times and stuff. Like they don't last forever, right?
Yeah, monitors and everything. I got you.
Like Samsung is one of the best people to buy a TV from because Samsung makes every part in the same factory, whereas Toshiba and the other places outsource parts. They bring them in and then they put it together and call it their TV. So Joe can't talk to Bob about the piece that he's making, and that's why they have problems sometimes. But if you buy a Samsung TV, everything was made.
I feel like Sony's like that. Sony's one of those.
Right. The guy in the next cubicle was making the other part of that TV, so you could talk to him and it would be compatible.
We might have to give you a snack pack name soon. You're starting to border on cocaine Brian stuff right now, Glenn.
I buy Samsung. I've got a Samsung phone.
You're starting to get
Samsung
there.
TV, right? Hi, Samsung.
All right, man. Well, we did this anyway. Mike Rita, I'm sorry you couldn't make it. Hopefully your smile's beautiful. We still love you.
Sending positive energy and thoughts, my friend.
Yes. Guys, as we've said many times, I'm here with Glenn Wells, founder of Cannamatch, Cannamatch.ca.
Oh,
we're going to be,
yeah,
we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
And we'll take a picture.
All right.
So what we're going to do with Cannamatch.ca, you want them to upload a video?
Yep. All right. I'll just tell you right here. So so you can go to Instagram Cannamatch, or you can go to the Facebook Cannamatch page.
Okay.
Right. So we will give anyone who submits a video about why they love Cannamatch.
Okay.
Or even when we will even expand it to how Cannamatch can help them.
Okay.
All right. So let's say once a week we will give away 5,000 free credits.
How's this? Wait, maybe we should get into this before. How the fuck does this work? You got. Is Cannamatch a casino?
No, it's credits are to send messages. So when you sign up for free at Cannamatch, you get 50 credits for free. So it costs you 5 credits.
This is sounding like a Ukrainian wife website, Glenn. What the?
So you get 10 messages for free, and then beyond that, you buy 100 credits for $2.99. We know
it's like
as low as you can. There's no other dating sites or meeting sites out there that have credits that low. Right, so we know that you have to buy a bag of weed for that person that you might be dating.
So it's like the 1-900 numbers. You're charging them $2.99 for credits.
Yeah, in a sense, that it costs to talk to people. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, that's how Cannamatch will make money.
Yeah, no, I get that. I thought it was like a monthly subscription or something.
You can, yes, you can buy the credits, which give you the monthly experience. There's a certain amount of credits that you buy, and that will give you superpowers.
What?
Yes, superpowers.
This shit's like Red Bull gives you wings?
Superpowers put your picture up in the top row so that when everybody is looking on the site, they see your picture.
So you're like, okay, wait, okay.
And then you get it.
Holy man.
Under your superpowers, you get to message people as much as you want for that 30 days, too.
So wait, you're like Rogers. And you've got tiers. What's the unlimited data, unlimited messaging?
Well, that's what you're going to get from me with those videos and stuff. So after the 11 more episodes, we will pick a winning video and we will give them a lifetime membership. I'll give them 25 years of paid days. They will never have to buy another credit again.
Okay.
And we will give it, like you can do days and credits. So I will times 12 times 25 years. And
Is it like Tim Hortons where you can send credits to a friend? Like you can buy other people coffee?
you can probably buy other people credits. I don't know. I've never heard of that. But we did do this thing where we were giving ladies free credits, and some men were pretending to be ladies so they could get the free credits. And I got a bunch of complaints that, hey, I'm just trying to meet this girl, and it turned out to be a guy, right?
Whoa, that's a real 2023 problem, though, man. Because
that they were a female because they wanted the credit, so I had to go through the whole site, site, and make sure that every female had a female picture, not saying female with a male picture.
Oh my God!
So I had to stop that.
What about like non-binary and all those, or like LGBTQ? That's all friendly, obviously.
We're that's all in there now, right?
Okay.
But this was just because I was giving free credits to ladies,
like a nightclub, ladies in for free,
sort of thing, and people were pretending online to be. It would say that they were a female, but they had a guy's picture.
I had an Uber driver once, right, that said he was on a bicycle, but it was just because he didn't have insurance for his car, and he was driving Uber Eats in a car. But if you used a bicycle, and you said you were a bicycle driver, then you could just get Uber Eats, and you could be a delivery person without any credentials.
Wow. Eh?
Yeah, it's kind of similar to your thing, where they were saying they were a female for free credits, but they're really a guy.
Enter a video, win some
Okay,
free credits.
This is how this is going to work. You gotta take a video telling us why you
love Cannamatch, or how Cannamatch can help you,
or how
it's helped you. Either one,
right? Shout out Cannamatch. Upload your video.
It's like-minded people meeting like-minded people.
Bring a bag, not a bottle.
That's it. Yeah. Or we Cannamatch you.
Mike's gonna have to do that one.
I know. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna work on this contest, guys. We'll release full details of everything. We'll tag all of the pages. We'll figure all of this stuff out. But the moral of the story is, before we go, the Coles Notes version for all the delinquents like me, we're gonna give away a lifetime subscription to Cannamatch by the end of this sponsorship. We're really happy to have Glenn Wells on board here supporting the Snacks of Life.
To be part of the show.
Well, thank you so much. I'll say this. We're really happy that you're part of the show as well. Wherever Mike Rita is. And we're going to get this one out. You know the song now, right? You're familiar with the song?
We are it.
Okay, here we go.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have
the Snacks of Life.
The Snacks of Life.
There's a time you gotta go and show you grow, and now you know about
the Snacks of Life.
The
Snacks of Life.
When the world
Ladies and gentlemen, I am not Mike Rita, but I am the Snack Man. This has been the Snacks of Life podcast, proudly brought to you by Cannamatch.ca. Are you looking for a stoner friend? Maybe it's a lady, maybe it's a guy. Cannamatch.ca. It'll put a twinkle in your eye. That's been the Snacks of Life podcast. We'll see you next Friday.